love how that just doesn't work anymore. Hello, Beaties. Oh my gosh, she's that logo's still up. Oh my gosh, note to self, mess around with OBS later. Jeez, you know you got stuff to work on. Hello, Beaties. It's your favorite ferret, Cheese Louise, and today we're gonna do a not so Christmassy themed stream. Unless you consider the red of blood from bloodshed from war to be Christmassy. Note: Fire Emblem games don't really actually contain blood. They do contain death, though. By blades, blood is implied. It's just not seen. We're gonna do some Fire Emblem rankings today. We're gonna be ranking characters, and we're gonna be ranking games. There'll be several character tier lists. They'll be separated by a game. But there'll only be one game tier list. What? Am I supposed to do a separate tier list for spin-offs? Huh? There's only like 3 spin-offs. Maybe 4. Depends how you count them. But yeah. No, I won't be ranking characters from every game. Basically, only games Awakening and Afterward. Now, I have played almost every Fire Emblem. Except for the Jugdrill games. But games that are before Awakening, I don't feel like I honestly have a good grasp of every character that's in it, because supports either didn't exist or they kind of sucked prior to Awakening, but Awakening made them real good, so I read all the supports, I know all the characters fairly well, so I can judge whether I like them or not. Whereas, you know, it wouldn't be fun to watch me do a Blazing Blade tier list, Binding Blade, Blazing Sword, either one of them, and like half the characters, I'm just like, I don't remember who this is. D tier. But yeah, I know everyone pretty well, Awakening and onward, and that does include Echoes. And let's not waste too much time. Let's go ahead and dive on into it. And instead of silence, maybe. Maybe. Alright, the volume went to 0. That's interesting. Alright, is that a good volume? Also, I should do a mic check while I'm thinking about it. Mic check. Mic check. Okay, sorry for double music there. Alrighty, so we're starting off with Fire Emblem Awakening, my first Fire Emblem game that I didn't buy at the time. A friend lent it to me because he said it was awesome, and you know what? He was right. I've played through Awakening 6 times. So that said, I do have 5 wives and 1 husbando. But the husbando was Crom, because I'm like, let's just go with the defaultest choice there is. If I gotta marry a guy, I'm not gonna not marry a guy. I gotta get Morgan. That said, these tier lists do not include both genders of the avatar or the child. Yeah, I guess I could have made it, but I didn't. Oh well. Alright, starting us off is Anna. Anna in Awakening is pretty charming. Anna is a recurring character throughout Fire Emblems. There's just like a bunch of Annas. She's kind of the Nurse Joy of Fire Emblem, if you will. She's a money grubber. She's merchant, but she's very charming. She's got a nice little voice. She's funny, and she's like an outside the norm unit. She can only marry Robin. She's not in the normal marriage pool. Fire Emblem Awakening, for those who don't know, has a whole like marriage mechanic, and like your children come from the future, blah blah blah. Anyway, Anna's gonna start us off fairly strong, with a B. Now next up, why is it in this order? Oh, it's probably Avatar. But next up is Robin. Male Robin is my boy. That's my guy. He's got such a cool design. Some people, I've heard people like nag on his character, like, oh, he's so boring, he doesn't have personality, blah blah blah. I think he has plenty of personality. Words fail me to describe what that personality is, but I felt like he had personality. I like him. He's a brilliant tactician boy. But he's also a little mischievous. And his cloak is awesome looking. I'm gonna put Robin in S tier. Fight me. Aversa is a villain, but you can get her through the Spot Pass. I think it was called Spot Pass. I don't know. It's just like additional borderline canon chapters where you can recruit extra characters that are not in the normal marriage pool. Aversa has a slightly tragic backstory. But she's still just mostly, you know, just a mean person. I'm gonna put her mid. Basilio. Now, it's funny. Like, I like Awakening so much, right? It's one of my favorite games of all time. And Basilio's like a major character. He is one of the few characters, like, looking back, you don't think about it, or when you're your first playthrough, you don't think about it, but looking back, it's like, oh, there's only like a small handful of characters that like appear in story cutscenes after their initial introduction. Otherwise, you're mostly just seeing them in supports. Basilio's like one of those guys who's just like hangs out in all the cutscenes, except for a brief stint, but blah 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 plot. There's a reason he's not there, and when you do finally get him, he's very strong. He's got a bunch of iconic lines, but I just don't like his personality that much. He's not my kind of guy. He does have a cool design, though. He's just kind of middling for me. I'm going to put him in C. Brady, my boy. Brady is a second-generation character, our first second-generation character we're getting. He is the son of Maribel. He is not my son, but he's my son's friend. Brady's a good boy. He's like, he's very soft, but he has like a punkish looking exterior, so people are always like afraid of him. But he's just a, you know, he's a healer. He just wants to help people. But he has a thuggish way of talking, and he looks like a thug, so people are often afraid of him. Brady's good. I'm gonna put him in B tier. Cherche, whose name I recently learned how to pronounce. She is the what's the word? She's the retainer for Virion. She honestly, I always thought she was a little bland. Most of, like, 80% of her dialogue in the game is just about Minerva, her wyvern. I get it, you're a wyvern rider. I get it. I don't hate her. She's got a nice design. I like her little dragon headdress thing. We're gonna put her in C. Crom, my husbando. I don't actually like Crom that much. I don't despise him or anything. Among Fire Emblem Lords, I guess he's higher up there for me. But among Awakening's cast, he's not going to be too high. I like... They kind of tried to make him an anti-Marth, if that makes sense. Like, he's still a good guy, but Marth is, like, eloquent. But Crom is very brash. Yeah. The running gag in a lot of his supports is just him breaking stuff. Because he doesn't know his own strength. He's fine. C tier. Jeez, you can't put everyone in C tier or higher. Oh, we'll see. We'll just you hold on. Cordelia. As far as I can tell, like 90% of people's first wife in Awakening, you know, people that played more than once. A lot of people married Cordelia. She's a perfectionist. She's super talented, but she has an unrequited love for Crom, which, from my perspective, makes her a terrible marriage option. Because you marry her, and you'll still see a bunch of dialogue of her just like pining after Crom, like, "Hello, I'm right here, Cordelia." I do think her daughter Severa makes her more of an interesting character, but just her being a perfectionist doesn't make her that interesting to me. See, also we're gonna just. I'm not gonna worry about order within tiers for the character ones. Or should I? Okay, hold on. Let's yes worry about within tiers. There. Order within tiers matters now. Cynthia! Cynthia! Okay, Cynthia is the daughter of Sumiya, but she... their dynamic doesn't really play into it too much, but Cynthia is a hero. She's a Pegasus rider, and she... Okay. It needs to be said, in Awakening, all the child units, they come from like a... Awakening spoilers, by the way. They come from like a ruined future. So all of the child characters are extremely quirky, which I find much more endearing when I realize that all of their extreme quirks are coping mechanisms because they live in an apocalypse, right? So Cynthia's coping mechanism is to play the hero. She loves saving people. She loves daring deeds. She has the skill to back it up. You know, she actually saves people, but she also just, like, is off in dreamland. Her head's in the clouds thinking about being a hero. Like, drafting up cool lines to say and practicing her hero poses. I love Cynthia so much. The last wife I had in my final playthrough of Awakening was Sumiya, and it's just because I wanted Cynthia to be my daughter. And in honor of that... Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Let's add another row. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Let's see. My babies! Oh, I spaced it weird. Now you're not going to be able to see. Oh well. Well, I can just drag him up, right? Anyway, Cynthia is my precious baby daughter, so fight me. She also recently got a buff in Fire Emblem Heroes that makes her really good, so that made me happy. Next up is Donald. Let's just place him in E to look at him for a second. Donald is a farm boy. He has trainee stats, which means he starts with low stats, but he has really high growth rates, so if you do train him, he's going to be a monster of a unit. Although that doesn't mean too much in Awakening, because Awakening is really easy to cheese, and just like make whatever unit you want super busted and powerful. But, you know, Donnie's a good boy. He's just a little farmhand. You know what, I'm seeing C is getting too popular. I'm gonna move Basilio and Aversa down. I'm gonna put Donald right above Cherche. He's a good boy. He's got a southern accent for whatever dialogue is voiced. Emerin. So Emerin is Crom's older sister. She is the Exalt. Until until plot happens. Alright, big Awakening spoilers, okay? Alright. If you're playing Awakening right now, or you're gonna play it soon, stop listening. Stop watching. So, a big plot thing in Awakening in its first arc. Emerin martyrs herself off a cliff in order to demotivate the enemy forces, because they're like, wow, we're really serving the evil guy, huh? I can't believe he did that. But I mean, she was up for execution anyway, but she was like, no, Crom, don't go through with it. Don't you worry about me, I'm already dead. But there is a spot pass chapter where she miraculously lived, and it's like 5 years in the future or whatever. I forget the length of the time skip. But she wasn't rescued by our people. We find her in like some foreign country, just like sitting around with amnesia, and a speaking disability. So she can barely talk and she has amnesia, but we rescue her. And that said, this is gonna be a weird one to make the new tier for. Oops, gosh dang it, I keep... Okay. Wife... Oh! Typing's hard. Typing's real hard. You know that? Also, I still have caps lock on. Why is it going backwards? What is happening? What? That was weird. I've never seen that happen. What? Also, that's my dictionary. Gosh dang it. I just think Emmeren's real pretty, and I really like her before the time skip, and when you recruit her future self, or not future, but like post amnesia and brain trauma, she's not in the normal marriage pool, but the Avatar can still marry her. So I'm like, I gotta take care of her. I don't know. Is that weird? I'm sorry. Anyway. Next up is Flavia. Just toss her an A for now to look at her. Flavia is the other Khan of... The Khan's like the leader. What is that country called? I don't remember. She's the counterpart to Basilio. She's also very relevant to the plot. But she just, like, doesn't have the good lines that Basilio has. And I'm not big on her design. So I'm sorry to any Flavia stands out there, but I'm going to put her in E tier. She's not going to go into F. Don't you worry. But, yeah. Alright, next up we got Frederick. Frederick is the guy. He is the man. So, he is Crom's retainer? Butler? I don't know. So, there's an archetype in Fire Emblem called the Jagan. Named after Jagan, the character. It's an early game unit who is already, like, promoted and, like, really strong. So it's one you can, like, rely back on when you're in a tight spot. Now, if you're an experienced Fire Emblem player, you know you don't want to use the Jagan early. You only want to, like, lean back on them to prevent deaths, right? But you want to be training up other characters. But a lot of people's first playthrough, including mine, you use Frederick and you're like, oh my god, he's busted! He's the best there is! So he beats everything for a long time. If you use him, he's like all you need for like the first half of the game. But I also like his personality. He's like a bit overly devoted to Crom. He clears pebbles out of the path that Crom's about to walk on. He does like over the top campaigns to like rally the troops to be like our Lord Crom, blah blah blah. And who can forget his crit line? Pick a god and pray. That's a terrible impression. But yeah, Frederick, he's actually just going to stay right there in A tier. He's such a guy. Also, he's wearing like a button-up and a tie underneath his armor. You can't really see in there, but if you look up like a higher res image of him, you'll see he's wearing a suit underneath. Alright, next up is Gaius. Gaius is a thief. He likes candy. D tier. I don't know. A lot of people like his personality because he's... How do you describe him? Smug? That's not right. You know, he's the devilish rogue with a heart of gold, you know? But, I don't care for him. I don't hate him, but he's not my guy. Gangrel. He is the main villain of the first arc of Awakening. He looks a lot like Ganondorf. But you can recruit him in a Spot Pass chapter at the end of the game. Where it's like, upon defeating him, we didn't kill him, but he had to like leave the country, and he's been like barely scraping by, being like part of brigands, but they like treat him like dirt, and he's like, oh, my life is horrible. But he betrays the brigands to help us, so we decide to like let him join us, and he's like, yeah, I'll mend my ways or whatever. But unfortunately, he only really gets a support conversation with the Avatar, so there's not too much to go on. But I kind of like how just unapologetically evil he is. He makes a very good villain. He's just despicable Disney evil, you know? So I'm gonna put him low B tier. Alright, next up is Jerome. Jerome is the son of Cherche. He also has Minerva as his wyvern, and that's like a whole plot thing. He does not talk about his wyvern nearly as much as Cherche does. But his coping mechanism is that he's Batman. You know, he's the strong, silent type. He doesn't want to talk, but he's an anti-hero, I guess. You know, he'll help people, he'll do the right thing, but he's willing to play dirty or what have you. I'm just gonna... I don't care too much for him. I like his dumb mask. And then he has some good supports. All these characters have some good supports, but it's more of a testament to Awakening's good writing than to the character. Alright, Gregor, who just recently got added to Heroes. I had to think a second. I was like, is he in Fire Emblem Heroes? Yeah, he was like on the most recent Awakening banner, alongside Rearmed Robin and Fila, who is not on this list today, because she's not a playable unit in Fire Emblem Awakening. I guess I could have added her in anyway, but oh well. But Gregor has funny Russian accent, and he's a merc, but he's good-natured, hardy old man. He's just a cool guy. I'm gonna put him mid B, just above Anna. Yeah. Alright. Henry the boy. Alright, Henry is a dark mage with a very twisted sense of humor. He's very... Do I want to say good-natured? Okay, he was raised by crows. Alright, he was raised by animals. So his perception of human morals are a bit off. He wants to be a nice guy, but he's an extremely powerful dark mage. So sometimes his methods of being nice guy are a little detestable. But he doesn't intend to be detestable. He's just like, oh, was I not supposed to hex them to vomit profusely? Or I can't remember specifically what he does that's like evil, but anyway, Henry is actually one of my favorites. He's such a guy. He goes to the top of A tier. Actually, nah, Henry goes S. Alright, Inigo. Or Inigo? Inigo Montoya? Anyway, he is the son of Olivia, who we have not gotten to yet. But he's a ladies' man, or rather he would be. He's a flirter. He's always trying to get a date, but he never does, because women in Awakening World just despise getting hit on. He thinks about hitting on them, and they are already angry at him. He's kind of funny, he has some good supports, but I'm not into that character archetype. There's a few others we'll see today, the flirters. So he's gonna go the bottom of C tier. He's charming enough. He's likable. I like his voice acting. But the ladies man angle, the unsuccessful ladies man, is not an archetype I get behind. All right, Kellum, who is still not in Fire Emblem Heroes. Kellum's bit is that nobody ever notices that he's there, and they often forget that he exists. And it's even a meme in the Fire Emblem fan base that whenever Kellum is mentioned, you either act like, who is that? Where's that from? Or you act like they just like typed a blank space. But I like Kellum. His bit doesn't get old for me, even though it's like constantly there. It's like, it's so overkill that it's hilarious. So I'm gonna put him right below Frederick in A tier. You know, Brady deserves to be in A tier. I changed my mind on him. Alright. I don't know how to say your name. Kiel Kjell. Daughter of Sully, who we have not seen yet. She is the second generation unit with the least amount of character. Her character trait is that she's a tough girl. She likes to train. Wow. E tier, right above Flavio. Laron is the son of Muriel, who we have not gotten to yet. You know what? Hang on. We're gonna skip and we're gonna do Muriel first. Okay. Muriel is a scholar and a mage, so she's like very archetypal like that. However, most of her supports are really funny because she like insists on like trying to experiment with whoever she is talking to like, she's like, oh, Kellum, everyone doesn't notice you. I need to experiment to find out like what's going on with that. Or, oh, Stall, you're exactly average among everyone. We haven't gotten to Stall, but you're exactly average among all troops. Let's see if you can train super hard and get like better and not be the exact average. And then he does, and she's like, that's incredible, Stall. You've gotten better, but you're still the exact average. Somehow, you miraculously, scientifically caused every other one of our soldiers to become better alongside you to keep you exactly average. Her supports are very funny, but she herself is not that interesting, but she's always funny in supports because she's so dry. Gonna put her just below Anna in B tier. Actually, yeah, okay. Anyway, Laron is all of that dryness without any of the funny supports about experiments and stuff. Now, he does still have funny supports, but it's usually just him playing straight man to whatever gimmicks his conversation partner is up to. But he is very, very boring. I'm gonna put him D tier. No, you know, he's E tier. I'm gonna put him above Kjell. Libra is a monk who is often mistaken for a woman. In game, most players, you know, figure it out because he says it almost immediately. And yeah, that's a pretty feminine voice, but he's very pretty. But he does still identify as male, so. He's just very wholesome. He's just like an actual good priest. A lot of his supports are like trying to help his conversation partner, like, what do I want to say? Like better themselves, you know, achieve some sort of spiritual enlightenment. But he's not like forceful about, thou must praise Naga. Naga's the dragon god that he worships. Naga's also the god of, like, what is the country? Elise. The country of Elise? I don't know. But she's the god of that country. But Brady's just a very good boy. He's not very funny in most of his supports, but not that I can remember. I don't know. It's been a long time since I read all the Awakening supports. I'm talking like 8 years, so apologies if memory's a little fuzzy. I did not rewatch every support in preparation for this because that's like 10 hours of for Awakening, it's 10 hours of watching supports. Don't get me started on the other games. But yeah, Libra, he is good at the bottom of A tier there. Lissa. So Lissa, spoilers, was my first wife in Awakening. And my logic behind it was a little dumb. I didn't marry for love, I married for tactics. Which it wasn't even like a smart tactic. Because my thinking was like, okay, Chrom can marry Maribel, who's also a healer, and I'll marry Lissa, because if either Chrom or Robin ever dies, even if you're playing on casual mode, it ends the chapter. Like, you have to restart. So it's like, okay, I'll always keep healers behind them, so blah blah blah. So I ended up marrying Lissa. And at the time, but she's still my wife. She's still my wife. And, you know, over time, she's definitely grown me on a lot. She's just a little merry prankster. But she's also very caring and thoughtful. I mean, being a healer, she has to care about others' well-being. But she very, very much does so without being like, I'm a healer, so this is my job. That's what she sounds like. I am going to put her above Emerin. Oh, don't speak her name. Okay, there we go. Divine Decree. That's the song that's playing. Wanku. Excuse me. 1 second. Okay. Wanku is a cool guy. He's the stoic silent type. But he pulls it off well. He's not my favorite, but I don't dislike him at all. He's just a very good, strong silent type. I'm going to put him right above Gregor in B tier. Left is high in the tier, in case that isn't obvious. Alright, Lucina. Everyone's favorite mascot character. I'm pretty sure she's more well-liked than Chrom. So Lucina is a very tragic character. She comes from the future to try to rescue her dad. Excuse me. What is going on with my biology right now? Anyway. She's very serious, and she appears in a lot of cutscenes. And you know what? She's not that charming in the main story cutscenes, but she's actually very funny in supports. Because she's too serious, even though she's very good-natured. To the point where I think she has Asperger's. She, like, cannot comprehend the person she's talking to. She seems to not be able to perceive other people's emotions very well. Not to, like, a mean degree, but more of a, like, smile question mark kind of way. You know what I mean? And another gimmick of hers, she has very terrible sense of fashion. Or not just fashion, she just has terrible taste in like, anything. So, she is very funny. She's not S tier. I'm going to put her at the top of A tier, though. I like Lucina a lot. Chrom shouldn't be in C tier. I'm going to put him in B. Alright, next up is Maribel. Maribel is very haughty. She's a noblewoman. She loves Lissa a lot. Sorry, something's going on with my throat. There's a frog in it. Get it out of there! She's very haughty, but she's also, like, she's good-hearted. Even if she's too posh for her own good, she still cares about other people. She's pretty funny in most supports. She plays well off of other characters. I'm gonna put her mid-A tier, just below Frederick. Next up is Morgan. Alright, is there any question? Of course she's in my babies. But, so Morgan is a merry little prankster, which, just like her mother, Lissa, Actually, so the first time I played Awakening, I didn't realize that the child characters were pre-scripted, or like there's a child designated to each mother, except for Morgan, who is designated to Robin, and Lucina, who's designated to Chrome. I thought the children were like generated based on the pairing because Lucina and Owain, they just fit so well as Robin. Sorry, I'm messing with my mic stand. You can probably hear that. Sorry about that. Um, Morgan and Owain make such good children for Robin and Lissa. It's uncanny. Morgan takes after Lissa so hard, but Morgan's my precious baby. She just wants to be just like her daddy. She studies the tactics real hard, but she's an absolute airhead. She's kind of a idiot savant in a way. Like pretty much anything she's doing, she's an idiot savant. She doesn't know what she's doing, but she's really good at it. Um, I love my little airheaded baby. And I'm sorry, Cynthia, but you cannot be above Morgan in this. Morgan is my number one forever. Also, I just realized I'm still wearing my Veronica hat. That wasn't intentional. Don't worry about it. Alright. Nah. We should cover mothers before we put children down. We'll do Noe first. Okay, Noe is a Manakete, which means she is a dragon. So even though she appears to be a young girl, she is actually thousands of years old. A lot of people take issue with her character design. You kind of can't see it here that well, but her outfit exposes a lot of skin. Her midriff is completely exposed, but I've definitely seen a lot worse. I don't mind her design too much. I understand it can be a little jarring for people, but I think she's cute, and she's a very playful personality. And I just like Manaketes in Fire Emblem, so I'm gonna put her just above Maribel. So I don't have very good justification, but she's very charming. Just take my word for it. All right, now Na. Na is the daughter of Noe. She's also a Manakete, but unlike Noe, she is not 1,000+ years old. She is, in fact, like 10. So I don't know how that aging works. She's half human, half Manakete. I don't know if that makes her age like normal, or if she aged up to 10 like instantly, but then stopped aging. She could be like 18 for all I know. She could be 25. I don't know how old the child characters are. But Na is extremely, very overly serious. To comedic effect. But much like Lucina. But she also, being a Manakete, she has to deal with, like, some primal urges, like violent outbursts. But most of the time, she's just a very funny straight man in most of her conversations. I really love Na a lot. So even though I didn't marry Noe, I consider Na my adopted daughter. That up she goes. Alright. Next up is Noir, but we're going to cover her mother first. Actually, should we cover mothers that we haven't already? Okay. We should. So we already have Kajel on here. She's right here. So her mother is Sully. Sully's character is that she's a tomboy. She likes to fight. She's very gruff. I don't like her that much. I don't despise her, but she's not going to rank very high. Yeah. She's at least, like, kind of interesting. Unlike Kajel, who's just very, very boring. Also, so Sumiya, mother of Cynthia. I gotta put her in waifu, because I did marry her. I can't just, like, not have married her. She's gotta be waifu. Among the wives, she's gonna be on the lower end. I don't despise her at all. She is very cute. Her character traits are that she's, very, very clumsy, but very plucky. She tries her best, and she's a Pegasus rider, but she was not at the beginning of the story. She, like, you find a wild Pegasus, and she just tames it, and she rides it into battle to save Chrom. And that's, like, the first time she's a playable unit, is on this newly found Pegasus. So that's, like, a cute little thing. She's very good with animals. But she's not that interesting, but she's very cute. You gotta give her the cute. But yeah, looking down this list, we gotta go through all the mothers that we haven't. So Olivia is the mother of Inigo. That's Inigo. Olivia is a dancer, but she's very shy. She's very timid, which is funny because, you know, she's always doing, you know, sexy dance moves, and her outfit shows a lot of skin, but she's very timid. She's cute. She's not my favorite. I do think it's funny that Chrom can auto-marry her, and he does for a lot of people. Because, like, game mechanics-wise, Olivia is introduced in the chapter right before the time skip, and at the time skip, Chrom will marry someone. And there's, like, a whole system to decide who that is. But basically, if all of Chrom's other marriage partners are already, like, paired off, and he sits next to Olivia at all, he will marry Olivia. If you manage to avoid all that, Chrom will marry just some random village girl, like, generic NPC, which is kind of funny. Generic villager Chrom's wife is not in this tier list, but, Olivia's very cute. I like her shyness. Gonna put her just above Gregor in B. You might notice this is a high-leaning tier list. That's because I love Awakening's characters. They're good. What can I say? Alright, are there any other mothers that we've skipped on? No, that's all the mothers currently... All the mothers of characters already on the list. But Noir's up next, so that means we gotta actually do her mother. Tharja is a dark mage. She is very gloomy. She's very antisocial. She is absolutely enamored with Robin to the point of actually stalking him. That's not like a joke, like, haha, Nimona stalks the main character in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. No, Tharja actually canonically stalks Robin a lot. To the point where she, like, counts how many times he rolls over in his sleep every night. Yeah, it's like that. She also, you know, is known to curse people, put hexes on them. But she's, despite her exterior indicating she might be evil, she actually has a very good heart. But she knows, unlike Henry, she knows that she's kind of evil-leaning. But she tries to implement it in good ways. And her outfit is very sexy. So now I know it's weird, but the whole stalking thing, since it's my character, I like the attention, so she's waifu. I'm gonna put her above Emerin, but below Lissa. Yeah. And fun fact, in my first playthrough of Awakening, I didn't recruit Tharja. I didn't realize she was a character to be recruited. In hindsight, it is very obvious. The game's like, hey, look at this character. You can go recruit them. If I were to play Awakening for the first time now, having played other Fire Emblems, I would know. I would know to go get her. Like, go make Chrom talk to her. It's weird that Robin can't talk to her. Yeah. But you know, of course, Tharja being in waifu tier means Noir is going to be in daughter tier. Noir is, you would almost think she's Olivia's daughter. Noir is extremely shy and timid, but unlike Olivia, who's just kind of a shy person, Noir's like social anxiety nth degree level of like, oh god, a person, oh no. Her voice acting is very good. Oh, and she has a, of course, how did I even forget this character trait? So she's also bipolar. Um, she's mostly the shy, timid, scared of people type, but if you push her too far, slash if she's in combat, she enters Blood and Thunder mode, where she becomes a little rage monster and just screams at people. Not in like a, not like an an aimless scream, but like just angrily yelling at people like, you blah blah blah, who do you think you are? But she's usually in the shy timid mode. She's so cute. I know it's weird to say like, aw, you're so mentally unstable, daw. But she's my daughter. I love her just the way she is. And I know it reflects very poorly on Tharja, because, well, you know, it depends on how far you've read into the supports. A lot of people think, like, oh, Noir is like that because her mother's Tharja, and Tharja was just a terrible mother, neglected her, and put her in all this social anxiety, blah, blah, blah. But actually, I believe it's revealed in the Tharja Noir support that, that Noir's bipolarness was actually hexed or cursed onto her by Tharja, but it wasn't to be mean. Tharja felt that Noir, being the shy, timid little girl that she was, like, wouldn't be able to, like, make it in the world. And this is like mid-apocalypse happening, right? This is the world being taken over by the Risen, and Grima. Like I said, Awakening spoilers. You don't see the scene. It's in Noir's past, and it's in a non-existent future. But, so Tharja did that to help Noir survive. Especially because Tharja herself felt that she herself would not be surviving that much longer. You know, she's part of the army. She's gonna go off to war, and they're fighting an unwinnable war. But she wanted her daughter to survive, so that's why she cursed her with the Blood and Thunder. So Tharja's not an intentionally bad mother. I mean, who is? But Tharja's just a messed up person, and she did her best by her own perspective to help her daughter make it in the world. So that's something. Because Nora is actually my daughter and not isn't, I'm just gonna place her off one. I can't place her above Cynthia though. I love Cynthia. Alright, next up is Owain. Spoiler. I married Lissa, so he is also my baby. So Owain is a Chunibiu to the max. Although he does break character a lot. But it's for comedic effect, for a writing perspective. So that's his coping mechanism. Is rather than play the hero, he's like he wants to be the anti-hero, but you know, he's actually a hero. But he wants to be the edgy anti-hero. He always talks about how his sword hand twitches. Like, oh, I'm gonna start slashing any moment now. I won't be able to contain it. He is very funny. Love him a lot. I'm very glad he's my son. I shouldn't play favorites with my children, but I'm gonna place him above Noir. I shouldn't, but I will. Alright. Pan, or Panay, however you say it. She's a Tagwell? I don't know. She's a rabbit person. Or a beast person. No, don't put up the beast counter. Don't do it. She's very serious, but not like to a comedic degree. She's just very solemn. The whole thing about her is like she's like one of the last of her kind, which in the whole of Awakening scope is a very like throwaway thing. They just kind of say that and never like, they say that when they introduce her and they never like dwell on it again. Well, they kind of do. We'll get to him. She's just not very entertaining, and I think honestly she actively drags down most of the supports that she's in. supports with otherwise funny or interesting characters get dragged down by her being there. She's pretty bad. Which is a shame, because like I want to like the unique unit types. Like, oh, you turn into a bunny monster. That's cool. I also don't like her design very much. I don't know. She's got the weird, like, fleshy ears. Priam is a spot pass character, so only talks to Robin in supports. So he... This is a weird thing. He is a descendant of Ike from Fire Emblem Path of Radiance Radiant Dawn. But that is a separate universe from Awakening. So in Fire Emblem canon, there's this whole thing called the Outrealms. So Outrealms is basically alternate dimensions. And they get pretty loosey-goosey with it in, like, Fates. They were kind of tame with it in Awakening, which is where the concept was introduced. So Priam came from Tellius, which is the Radiant Dawn world. And he came here, and he's just, like, the leader of a band of mercenaries. And he's just like, I'm the strongest. I'm such the strongest guy. I'm so strong. Prove you're strong to me. And then you fight him. And actually, by Awakening standards, his recruitment chapter is one of the most difficult chapters in the game. Just because you get onslaughted, like, real hard. No, I'm not counting Apotheosis. Be quiet. That's a super extra lunatic difficulty DLC chapter thing. Which is actually incredibly difficult. I know, I've beaten it. But he's just so boring, and it's a weird fan service thing, and I don't like how he looks. He's so ugly. Oh my gosh, he's gonna go down in F tier. Look at him. Shame on you, Priam, for existing. Don't like that guy. Alright, Rickon. Rickon is a young boy, and his whole character motivation is like, I gotta prove myself, I've gotta be useful to Crom. I'm gonna sneak out and join the army so I can be useful. And that sounds really annoying, but he's an endearing enough character. Looking back, I don't remember him being too funny in many supports. But I don't dislike him at all. I don't know. Also, he rescues Maribel in both of their introduction chapter. He sneaks behind enemy lines. So, you know, he risks his life to save her when he's, like, not technically a soldier. So he's got that going for him. I'm going to put him mid-high C, below Donald. Alright, next up is Sayri. So Sayri is a bit of an interesting character. She has very few supports. I believe she only talks to Robin and Tiki. But she's not a spot pass character. She's very much a main story character. I don't know why they didn't make her like part of like the whole marriage group thing. So it makes her feel like an extraneous character. Or I guess what we call in this game a Robin sexual, where they can only marry Robin, and that's it. She's a pretty serious character, but it's not like boring. She's actually relevant to the plot. She helps out the army when when they get to Valm, which is the foreign country that they have to sail to. Blah blah blah. And also, I guess she's like Tiki's retainer or something. I'm not really sure how exactly that works out. But I like her design. She's just a little samurai girl. And even though she doesn't have too many supports, and she's mostly just like a flat serious, I like her decently. I'm gonna put her high C tier. Severa. Okay, so Severa is like grade A tsundere. She is the sunderest dere to ever sun. You know what I'm saying? So she's very mean, right? But she's mean because that's just how she interacts with people. She doesn't dislike, she doesn't hate the people she's around. She just doesn't know how to not be mean. Um, and I think for the most part, the people that she talks to, they know she's like that, so they don't get upset about it. Sometimes she goes overboard, but that's like a whole, you know, character development thing. Like, oh, they had an argument, Severa went too far this time, blah, blah, blah. But the reason Severa is the way she is because she has an extreme inferiority complex with her mother, Cordelia. Also, this first tier list is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Oh my gosh. So she's just like very spiteful of her, you know, her perfect mother. She's like, I can never be like that. She's always raised me to be perfect, but I just can't be that person. So she's got mommy issues. But honestly, I like Severa so much that despite not marrying Cordelia, not even caring about Cordelia that much, I consider Severa to be my adopted daughter. That's okay, that your mother sucks. I'll take care of you, Severa. Sorry about that. Alright, next up is Stahl. So Stahl's gimmick is that he is plain. He's plain as a joke. Like, he's the plainest person there is. He's friendly. I guess a character trait he has is that he eats a lot. Most memorable thing is the thing I mentioned earlier, his support with Muriel, where he's so average, and she encourages him to train harder to not be average, but the end result is the whole army gets stronger so that he stays exactly average. That's funny, but the rest of his supports, he's not very interesting in. I'm just gonna put him next to Sully. Tiki. That's my wife. That's my wife. Tiki is a dragon. She's Maneki, but she's much older than Noe. She's actually from Marth's game, so she's from like 10,000 years ago. Blah blah blah. She's very sleepy. She sleeps a lot. She's got to sleep because she's so long lived. You know, she's not that funny. She's pretty serious, but there's something about her. She just exudes a certain charm that hits me specifically. I mean, I'm sure it hits a lot of people, but what can I say? She is a perfect woman. Tier maker's note: adult Tiki is my wife. Young Tiki is not my wife. Okay. A great grand preference for adult Tiki. Okay. I know you're thinking, "Cheese, I know you. I know you like the little girls. You like young Tiki, don't you?" I like adult Tiki. Look. It's not about that. Adult Tiki is just the best. All right. All right. Vake or Vike or whatever. The Vake. He's a super macho man. He calls himself Teach for some reason. Cause he insists on, like, he thinks he's everybody's senpai or something. I don't know. Apparently he has a rivalry with Chrome. But Vake is just character I detest. I don't know what it is about him. He's just so obnoxious. Get out of here. Alright, Valadar is not a playable unit, but he is the main villain, so I thought I'd put him in here. He's very just like calculating evil. He's more filling a role than like an interesting character, but I think he fills that role very well. And while he's not the final boss, of course Grima is. You know, he's the mastermind. He facilitates all of it. Although technically, with the time travel shenanigans, Grima is the facilitator of all of it. Don't worry about it. But he's okay. As far as like filling his role as a villain, I don't like him that much, but he does a good enough job. I'm gonna put him one below Aversa. Alright, Varian is an obnoxious nobleman, but he is also good-hearted, blah blah blah. He just doesn't pull off the overly posh thing as well as Maribel does. Although he is pretty funny in supports because most of the time the characters just give him flack for his behaviors of being a posh guy. He is apparently a super brilliant tactician. In the supports, like, he beats Robin in chess, like, repeatedly. And Robin's supposed to be super tactician boy. But I'm just not very big on Varian. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of D tier. Alright, you see, it's flattened out a little bit. We're not too high-leaning anymore. I guess I just don't like characters whose names start late in the alphabet. Alright, Walhart. He is the main villain of the second arc of Awakening. He's like a super imposing, why can't I think of the word? Emperor? Dictator! That's the word. Sorry, sometimes words are hard. Ferret brain. He's a very threatening guy. The story does a good job of like building him up to be a huge threat. Although he's not the final villain at all. And yeah, he's just got a very good presence. I'm honestly gonna put him like mid-high B. Yeah. Alright. Yarne, or Yarn, however you say it, is the son of Pan. He is a Tigwell, and 90% of his dialogue is about the fact that he is an endangered species, so he's scared of dying. Wow. So his coping mechanism in the apocalypse is that he's a coward. He's not a funny coward. He's mostly just annoying. He can go at the top of F tier. All right, last character, Yan Fei. He's the brother of Seiri, but he's actually on the opposing side. Blah blah blah. Tragic story. He's like. Really, Twitch? You couldn't have, like, a modicum of patience to keep the VOD going to try to reconnect? It's like, oh, he's gone. Better split the VOD right now, instantly. Anyway. Right at the end, too. You get him as a spot cast character, so he only supports with Robin. And you only get him at, like, the very end of the game. I don't think he's very interesting. I don't hate him, but I'm just going to put him at the bottom of E tier. So, that is our Awakening tier list. Those are my 5 wives. My husband doesn't get to be in waifu tier. Sorry, Crom. At least I let you be in B tier. Be thankful. Although, actually looking at this, Crom should probably be above Gangrel and Miriel. Yeah, but below Anna. Yep. So, nice little bell curve there if you discount the babies in waifu tier. Only 2 S tiers, that's kind of surprising for myself. Just Robin and Henry, but I mean, it checks out. So, that's an interesting top 5. I wouldn't think that would have been my top 5 outside of the wives and children of Robin, Henry, Lucina, Frederick, Noe. But, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna click that save or download button. Bop, bop. Post on Twitter and Discord for the people who couldn't make it today. Log in to save. No, just download the image. Golly. Okay. Alright, so that is our first one down. Oh, hang on. I need to... Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. Let us move on to the next tier list of the day. Don't worry, I got it all set up. We should probably do in release order, huh? I was gonna do Echoes next, but Fates should be up next. Wait, what's presentation mode? Oh, that's so much better. Yeah, alright. It gets rid of all the obnoxious ads. It's also a lot wider. But I'm not going to expand the screen back out because it's just a bunch of black space on the sides. You need that. Alright, Fire Emblem Fates. Bop, 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 bop. So we do have a bunch of characters here. I'll try to speed up the explanation of who they are. Anna. So Anna is basically the same thing again as Awakening. But because there's something just like less interesting about her. Also, she's like paid DLC in this one, unlike Awakening. Bless. Somehow she goes from like high tier to bottom tier. Alright, Arthur. One of Elise's retainers. Should we do the nobles first? No. It makes sense to do parents before children, but the retainers aren't necessary. Arthur is like a superhero archetype. He's hero archetype, but he's not like as hammy. Well, he is hammy like Cynthia, but it's less of a joke and more just like that's how he is. But also has super awful, terrible luck. So even though he's the dashing hero, he has terrible luck that he has to deal with all the time. He's kind of funny. I kind of don't like his face. Yeah. Alright, next up is Asugi. So before that, we gotta do his father, Saizo. Saizo is one of Ryoma's retainers. He's a very serious ninja. He's a spy. He's Edgelord Magoo, but I don't think it's a joke. But he's still pretty cool. He can also make it into C, just above Arthur. Asugi is a Gaius recolor. It's supposed to be like an homage. Okay, so blah 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 lore. Fates takes place in the distant past compared to Awakening. Not every Fire Emblem game takes place in the same universe, but the ones that do are Awakening, Genealogy and Thrastia, Shadow Dragon and Mystery of the Emblem, Awakening. I believe that is the timeline of it. So Fates is earliest in the timeline, but it's really hard to tell it because its world is so different from all the other games that are like in that timeline. I think they would have done a better off job of just saying it's an alternate universe. But I think there is a reason that they kept it the same universe, and we'll get to it. So basically, Asugi reincarnates into Gaius, I guess. But he's basically the same character as Gaius, just with a little bit of daddy issues. But that makes him pretty boring in my book. I've already seen this character. Corrin? You know, I'm just going to throw him out there and not even justify it. Don't at me. Azama. Azama is a monk, but he is a little troll monster. Even though he's all spiritually enlightened or whatever, like, half the things he says to other characters is just to troll them. To either confuse them or make them mad or misdirect them to do something, like get them to trick them into doing something. But he's pretty funny, not gonna lie. So he gets a B tier. Azura is borderline the main character of the game. All right, let's go back to Corrin. Actually, I just like him. All right, he's a dumb little boy with little fish hair. Like, I know it's annoying in face writing how everyone just is in love with Corrin all the time, and not just because they can all marry him, but just everyone is always praising him. They care way too much about him. But he himself is such a little derp face, and he's just trying his best. You know, he was put in a terrible situation, and he's doing his best. Apparently, he's the one doing the tactics in the game, so apparently he's pretty good at tactics. He's just my dumb little guy. Also, he can turn into a cool looking dragon. Alright, Azura is the actual main character of the game. I don't know. She's kind of boring, but also she's serious, but she's not funny. But she's not supposed to be funny. We'll put her high B tier. Alright. Benny is a giant bear of a man, but he's very much a gentle giant. He's kind of got the Brady thing going on, where it's like everyone's afraid of him that he tries to talk to, but he doesn't have like a gruff demeanor like Brady does. He's very soft-spoken, but he's just very intimidating looking. He's a cool guy. I'm gonna put him above Azura. Veruca is an assassin. She's one of Camilla's retainers. Also, it's weird that a retainer can be an assassin, but whatever. She's very overly serious and edgy, but to an endearing degree, I guess? I don't know. I just like her. She's very emotionally, like, stunted, to the point where some of her supports are about her, like, trying to cope with not having emotions, / trying to, like, get emotions. At least as far as I remember. Kale Dory is a pre-reincarnation version of Cordelia, I guess. Somehow the perfectionist thing doesn't work as a child unit. Oh, hang on, we have to go after her dad first. Tsubaki. He's not a perfectionist. Like Cordelia was like, she tries super hard to appear perfect. But Tsubaki's just like, huh, it just happens that way. Like, he's perfect guy Magoo, and he's very boring for it. I'll put him in D tier. But Kale Dory, I guess, takes after her papa, but she has to try a little harder at it. But since she's just Cordelia again, but not Cordelia, I'll put her above Anna, I guess. Also, I'm surprised they haven't put Asugi or Kale Dory in Fire Emblem Heroes yet. Because there's one other, like, reincarnated child unit that is in the game, and they are in Fire Emblem Heroes. Alright, Camilla. Look, I know her character design is Tits McGee, and she's a little bit of the overbearing Oni-san, but she's actually a pretty endearing character. She's very sweet and motherly. She's not my wife, but she's just a nice. She's just a nice lady. All right. Charlotte. Charlotte's very funny. First of all, she's wearing bimbo clothes. But she's a berserker, so she's a crazy high attack axe unit. She's a warrior type, but she is always trying to like find a husband to take care of her because she doesn't want to keep living this mercenary life. So she's always like acting like she's some dainty little girl where she's actually a berserker. And I think it's pretty funny. She can stay low A tier. Oh, I need to switch to the Fates music. I'm sorry. I just realized because Chaos started playing. There we go. That's some Fates music for us. All right. Next up is Dwyer. Before we do that, we have to do his father. Jacob. Jacob is Corrin's butler, and he is extremely devoted to Corrin, but he is just an absolute jerk to anyone who is not Corrin. But it's not, like, funny. I think it's supposed to be funny, but he's mostly just a jerk. I'm not big on him. Not big on him at all. Yeah, I'm down in E tier with you. Alright, Dwyer is a shut-in. I guess Jacob's kind of a perfectionist. He's like the perfect butler or whatever. But Dwyer's like, I hate my dad. Wait, is this our first child unit? Or it's our first that isn't like a clone. Okay, so the child units in Fates, they make very little sense compared to Awakening. Because Awakening is a whole like ruined future and they came back to try to stop it, blah, blah, blah. In Fates, they're like, oh, well, I guess we're fighting a war. So you're pregnant and you had a baby. Um, so let's just use the Outrealms to store the baby until it's safe. Oh no, the Outrealms have super accelerated time, except we already knew that before we put the baby there, so why did we do that? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? It makes no sense. Okay. Fan theory. Okay, so I think they try to use the accelerated time of the Outrealms to get them through the pregnancy period. Because they just, like, the children don't come from the future. They just go to an alternate dimension, have the baby, leave, the baby grows up, and then the baby comes back to the, to the main dimension, like, just as old as their parent. Which is bizarre. Like, that's not like a thing that characters do in this world. Otherwise, the population would be, like, infinite. Right? Everyone would be, like, the same age all the time. It's a bit of a... But I think they like... So, there's, like, the My Realm thing. Lilith, who we'll get to... I think I put her in this list. I didn't put Lilith in this list. Oops. Lilith creates like a little pocket dimension for Corrin to be a home base. So I think because Lilith did that, they get access to the Outrealms. And they... So the fan theory is that because they know of the accelerated time, they do the pregnancy there because, well, you're a soldier, but we're not going to make you fight while you're pregnant. So get unpregnant real quick. And maybe, I guess they mistakenly, like, left the child in that dimension. Also, all of the child units, they're raised in separate dimensions. They're not all in, like, one dimension, like, raised together. They all have their own little pocket dimensions where they, like, have a nanny that raises them or whatever. It's so bizarre. Even though I like a lot of the child characters in Fates, the way they're implemented does not make any amount of sense. And that's probably why they didn't bring them back in Three Houses. Anyway, Dwyer said, screw my dad and his perfectionistness. I'm gonna be a dumb shut-in, but I'm still technically a butler. He's kind of funny, not that interesting. We'll put him high C tier. Effie, Elise's other retainer. Her gimmick is that she's super strong, and she eats a lot. And her personality is that she's just kind of a tough guy, but as a girl, like low energy tough guy. Apparently her voice acting is very different in the Japanese version, and it gives her a very different different feeling to the character. Yeah, but I didn't play the Japanese version. I played the English version. Not big on Effie. Nope. Elise. Alright, so hear me out. I did it again. I did it again. First of all, what is happening? So hear me out, right? I played Birthright first. I've played all three versions of Fire Emblem Fates. I played Birthright, and then Conquest, and then Revelation. Which, if you're gonna play all three, that's kind of the order to do it in, yeah? Elise shows up... huge Fates spoilers. I'm sorry. But Elise shows up pretty late in the story in Birthright. Because Birthright is where you're siding with Hoshido. So Elise isn't on your side. But she shows up when you get to the city... the capital of Noir, whatever it's called. Nor, not Noir. Noir is my daughter. Noir is a country. But she shows up, and it's revealed that she's, like... she escapes the castle to, like, go sell flowers in the marketplace. Because she, like, likes to help the citizens. And she's so sweet. And she helps guide you, like, through the city. Like, she is the one Noir noble who you don't fight. Actually, I think she's the one noble out of all 8 of them who you never ever fight. She is always on your side. But you don't recruit her as a unit. She helps guide you through the city, and she was very much endearing me to her. And then the Xander chapter happens, and Elise is no more. And I was so upset. And while I already had my birthright wife, who we'll get to, I was so upset by Elise's death. And it was like, you know, it's right at the end of the game, so I'm like gonna play Birthright next. I was like, I solemnly vow, Elise, I will marry you and make you happy. I'm so sorry this happened to you. So I married her. Fight me about it. Oh hey, up next, Felicia. So Felicia is Corrin's maid. And there's like a whole thing, if you play male Corrin, you get Felicia early game, and you get Jacob later. If you play female Corrin, you get Jacob early, and you get Felicia later. I guess that's because of the marriage mechanic. And you know, I remember my first playthrough, Felicia's super endearing. I should probably explain her first. Felicia is extremely clumsy, but she's very charming. Also, she can't cook. Basically, she's a maid, but she's a terrible, awful maid. Even though she does her best. But she's such a sweet person, and she's by Corrin's side the whole time, always the reliable. And I remember my first playthrough, I was gauging all the options. I was like, I'm a master Fire Emblem player now. Who will be my wife? I was looking at everyone. I'm like, Orochi's pretty nice. Hinoka, no. I was thinking about all of them, but ultimately it always just came back to Felicia. She's just always there. She's just my sweet baby. My sweet honey. Anyway. Also, we've got trouble is very good line. If you know, you know. I am gonna put her below Elise, but they just know that they're very close to each other, okay? Flora is another one of Corrin's maids, but due to plot reasons, she's not in every route. She is the actual competent maid, so she's usually covering up for Felicia. She and Felicia are very close. It's very tragic what happens to Flora in some routes. But yeah, she's just a very serious maid. She's very nice, but she's not too interesting. I'm gonna put her high B tier. Alright, next up is Forrest, but before we get to him, we gotta go over his father, Leo. Where is Leo? Alright, Leo is the younger Prince of Nor. He's very serious, but so he's very studious. He is a student. He's a scholar. He is a mage. But he definitely has an inferiority complex. Like, you know, he definitely feels like the middle sibling. Like, not to me, but to himself. He feels like he's a middle sibling. So he's always struggling to prove himself. Also, he really likes tomatoes. And he's a little bit of a screw-up. Not like extremely, but there's a couple times where he makes like an obvious mistake. And he's like, oh no, I'm trying to prove myself as a noteworthy person. Ah, dang. So he's good enough. I'll put him just above Azura. Alright, but his son Forrest likes to cross-dress. He is not trans, he does not identify as a woman, but he just likes ladies' clothing, and he loves to sew. He is a bit of a fashionista. He likes to make women's clothing, not just for him, but for women as well. And there's a little bit of tension between them. Leo has to come to terms with the fact that his son is like that. And understand that this is a medieval setting. It's not... Fire Emblem Fates does not take place, nor was it written in Woke 2022. Okay. So, you know, he's definitely unusual within the confines of that world that he lives in. That said, his personality isn't very interesting. I feel like the whole angle of like, oh, he's a cross-dresser, he likes women's clothes, but he's like, what do I want to say? It's not like comical, you know. It's not like, oh, he's so gruff. It's such a contrast. There's such a gap. It's like, no, he kind of fits the clothes that he's in. I don't know. He's not too interesting to me, but I guess he gets some points for the cross-dressing thing. I guess. I wish I could cross-dress. Yeah. Mitzi seems fine for Forrest. Alright. I can't even remember this guy's name. Fugu? Master Fugu? He is exclusive to Birthright and Conquest. You can't get him in Revelation for whatever reason. He's just like a monk, but he's like a tough guy monk. I don't know. I don't remember him too much. Honestly, I'm just gonna throw him down in E tier. Below Jacob even. He's just very boring. Thank you. Well, this one's gonna get stitched back together. Anyway, if you missed it, Fugu's in E tier because he's very boring. Alright, Gunter. Alright, so he's the Jagan, but you don't get him in every route. As a matter of fact, I think he's only the Jagan in Revelation. You get him like mid to late game in Conquest, and I don't think you get him at all in Birthright. But he's Old Man, one of Corrin's retainers. But spoilers, he's evil. He was serving, what's her name? I cannot remember the name of the big bad. Not Garen. Anankos. So for that plot twist, he's kind of interesting, but otherwise he's just kind of a gruff old guy. No, low C tier. Alright. Hannah. She is a samurai. She's one of Sakura's retainers, as Tsubaki is. I didn't mention that for Tsubaki. Oh, reconnected. Thank you. Wow. Thanks, Twitch. It's alright. No one's watching. Hana's cute, but she's not especially interesting. Why? Sorry, that clipped the mic. I'm just very mad. Look, I restarted my computer before stream. Look, my download speed is like higher than it even usually is. Download speed is at 200 right now. But upload speed is struggling at 5. Why? Upload speed is what I need. I don't need download speed. Gosh dang it. We'll make the best of it, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even though it's not my fault. Alright, who did we just place? Hana? Alright. Alright, Hinata is one of Takumi's retainers. He's just kind of a a 2 brain cell guy. He's tough. He likes to, I don't know, does he like to fight? I don't know. He's just a rowdy guy. He has 2 brain cells. You can sit next to Hana. Alright, Hinoka is the older Hoshido sibling. She's the first Hoshido noble to be on here. She's very skilled. I think to her detriment, she's a little too obsessed with Corrin. Like, obviously all the nobles are a little too obsessed with Corrin, but I feel like it like makes like the least sense with her, and it's like more of a plot point with her. Just like, she cared about Corrin so much when they were little, even though Corrin was a baby when he got kidnapped. So, and Hinoka was also presumably like 5 years old. I don't know. But you know, she's a tough tomboy. She's fine. She can go. Let's go below Leo, actually. Alright. Characters I forgot existed. I don't even know his name. Hisami? Hang on. Ow! Ow! What is happening with my neck? His name is... Hisame! Wow, I was actually close. I didn't think I would be. Talk about one of the most boring characters in the game. So he's the son of Hinata there. And his character trait is that he's serious, but in a boring way. And he likes pickles, I guess. He's actually gonna go in F. He's so not interesting at all. Ignatius is the son of Benny, and his character trait is that he's a coward, but he's a big, large man, so he shouldn't be a coward. He's a tough guy. Ignatius is probably my least favorite character in the game. I don't know what it is about him. It's something about the character design. I don't know. Can't stand him. Alright, this guy, I forgot his name too. Izana. Alright, he's kind of a trollish priest guy. He's in all the stories, but you can only recruit him in... Oh wait, Fuga was Revelation only, but Izana is Birthright and Conquest only. I think he dies in Revelation, and that's why you can't get him. I don't know, but he's kind of a funny guy. He's got similar vibes to Izama, so I'm just going to put them next to each other. Alright, next up is Caden. He is a fox boy. He's a fox man. And he's just kind of a charming guy. He has like a policy where he must repay all favors done to him. So anytime you help him, a lot of supports are like someone helps him out, and then he like waits on them hand and foot, or like he tries to find a way to help them back. He's a nice guy. I'm gonna put him below Azura. Alright, Kagero is Ryoma's other retainer. And she is a spy, and she's serious, but it's like comedic with her, kinda. I don't know, one of her gimmicks is she likes to paint, but everything she paints comes out like horrible looking, and she doesn't realize it. She doesn't realize what her paintings look like. Like, not horrible... Like, horrible as in, like, they look scary. Like, they look like an eldritch version of whatever it's supposed to be. And she just, like, doesn't realize that she makes things look like that when she paints them. She's likable enough in that way. Wait, I left Hayato up there? What am I doing? I guess I got distracted by the stream disconnecting. Hayato does not live in A tier. No, I'm sorry. He's like Riken, but annoying. D tier. Kana, my sweet baby girl. You know what's gonna happen here. You know what's gonna happen here. Now, if I were to pit Morgan against Kana, not that I would, but if I did, I think Morgan would probably rank the higher of the two for me. I mean, she has more personality, whereas Kana's personality is just that, you know, she's a child. But she's very much a daddy's girl. And since I'm her daddy, that's very endearing. Alright, next up is Kaze. He's a cool ninja guy. But not cool in like, oh, he's so cool, but he's just chill, right? He's just such a guy. It's hard to explain, but I'm gonna keep him in A tier. Yeah. Alright, Keaton is a wolf man. And his gimmick, his personality, you know, he's a gruff guy, you can kind of tell by looking at him. But he likes to collect garbage. Because dogs do that. I don't know, I'm just gonna put him one above Kaden. Alright, Kiragi is Takumi's son. And even though he's kind of boring, he's just such a chipper little guy. He's just such a little dude. So I'm gonna put him like high B tier. It's hard to explain that one. I'm gonna scroll this down a little bit. Alright. Alright, Laszlo is Inigo from Fire Emblem Awakening. Not that he's the same type of character. Not that he's a clone like the others. He is literally Inigo. Plot spoilers. But Anankos, before he lost his mind, traveled into the future and gathered up 3 Awakening characters to be like, hey, I need you to come like help me out in the past before I go crazy. And they're like, yeah, alright. So I cannot remember where I placed Inigo. Laszlo seems like he's grown up a little bit compared to Inigo, but he's still, you know, he's still the wannabe ladies man. I'm gonna put him in, I don't know. He's more endearing in Faith somehow. It's hard to explain it, because the other two I don't feel that way on. Alright, Midori! Alright, Midori is such a cute little muffin. So she's definitely the youngest of the child units. Most of them range like, I don't know, 15 to 20. Midori's probably like 9 or 10. But somehow she's the daughter of Kaze, by the way. Or Keza, I don't know how it's pronounced. Keza is cheese in German. But Midori is like an apothecary. And she's very serious, but she's like a serious 9-year-old, you know? So she's still a little goofy. Maybe serious isn't the right word. She's very straightforward. She's very matter of fact. One of her actually is one of her catchphrases, I think. But it's not annoying when it comes from her. It's just cute. I'm not married Kaze, but I consider Midori my adopted daughter. What a little muffin. Alright, next up is Mitama, and she is the daughter of Azama. She hates her dad, as one might when your dad is a never ceasing troll. But she's a little shut-in, but she's like a chipper shut-in, unlike Dwyer. And she just wants to stay in her room all day and write haikus. And I believe all of her dialogue in the entire game is haikus. And that's awesome. If you don't know what a haiku is, it's a type of poem that follows the syllable count of like 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So like one sentence is 5 syllables, next sentence is 7, and the next is 5. And there's variations on it or whatever. But she speaks entirely in haikus, and her pupils are stars for some reason. I think it's implied that Azama's are also stars, but he just never opens his eyes, so you never see them. She's a little muffin. I don't consider her a daughter, but I like her a lot. Alright, Mozu. She's the Donald of this game, you know, random villager that you recruit. She's a lot less charming than Donald. She's just kind of there. I'm just gonna throw her in low C tier. Niles. Alright. I know Niles is a very popular Fates character. He's like... His, like, title is, like, cruel to be kind. Okay, so he's a jerk. But he's a jerk in order to help people. Not that he's a jerk with a heart of gold, but he's, like... He's a jerk because that's the only way to help some people, question mark? I don't know. I don't make the rules. I don't like him. Oh, what have I done? And I believe he's the only gay marriage option for male Corrin. Well, why would you marry him? You don't get to have Kana. You know what? You get F tier for trying to erase Kana from existence. Just kidding. You're not actually F tier, but you are low D tier. Not big on this guy. All right. Then we have Nina, who is Niles' daughter. She really likes BL. I'm not going to explain what that is. And the stream is going to disconnect. Are we back? Are we good? Okay. She likes BL. I'm not going to explain what that is. She's kind of funny, but she also kind of never shuts up about it. Mid-high C tier. Alright, Nyx. Nyx is a dark mage who is very old. But once upon a time... I forget the exacts of it. But apparently she used to be evil. She was a pretty evil witch. And she would just like curse people and do whatever. But then... Why? It's Sunday at 10 p.m. Who... Can't... Are we back? Are we good? Are we golden? Okay. I'll try not to dwell on it. I'm sure there's a VOD watcher or two, and they don't want to listen to me just talk about the disconnects. They'd rather just me brush it off and move on. But Nyx, it's hard for me to tell where it got cut off, you know? Like how much of what I said was still in the stream. She got cursed to be like, I don't know, she's like 10, 11, 12. But you know, she's still an adult, and she's mentally an adult, right? And even if you don't marry her, you need to... Every route, you need to use every marryable woman to marry the fathers so that all the children can exist. So you can't, like, say, oh, I don't want this person to get married. If you want all the characters, you have to have every woman marry. And actually, an unfortunate game design effect is that if you marry one of the eligible women and not a Corrin sexual, you can't get all the characters. You don't have enough women to go around to marry all the men to get all the children. And that sucks. And we'll get into that when we get into a later character. But I like Nyx a lot. She's very like sagely, but it's like coming, you know, out of a very young voice. So there's a gap moe there. I like her a lot. I never actually married her, but if I were to play Fates again, Conquest or Revelation, I would almost definitely marry her. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, next up is Oboro. And stream's disconnecting again. You know what? I'm just gonna keep going. Oboro, she's a tough girl. She really likes fashion. She likes to sew. Wow. Also, she like had an incident as a child that like Norians killed some of her family or something. So she like really, really hates Norians. she has a gimmick where she like makes a really fierce, angry face whenever she thinks about Norians, and that's kind of funny. Look, it's funny in context, all right. I'm gonna put her high B tier. I like her. It's hard to put why. All right, Odin is a Wayne, so he is my son. He's still a Chuny, but instead of a sword master, he's a dark mage this time. Unfortunately, he's not very good as a dark mage. He's a pretty bad unit, but that's not what we're ranking characters based on today. In case it wasn't obvious, I'm ranking characters not based on how good they are of units, but something much more objective, which is how much I like them. So he's still very funny. He's not gonna go in my babies, because this is a different world, but he'll still make it to S tier. Ophelia is the daughter of Odin, which makes her my granddaughter. So even though Odin's not in my babies, look, she's my granddaughter. All right. She's very much a Chuny like Owain / Odin, but whereas Odin is very like loud and boisterous throughout it, she's more of a soft-spoken, a more gentle Chuny, but she's still very. I shall exact the will of the gods upon thee. Yeah, she's very cute. Go above Midori. Sorry about that. Alright, Orochi. Orochi is a very pleasant woman. She's a fortune teller. She's one of, what is her name? She's one of Makoto's retainers. Makoto's Korin's mom. I don't know, she's just got a, you know, sexy older woman vibes, but not that old. She's nice. I'm gonna put her top of B tier. Below Flora. Alright, next up is Pierce. Pierce is the son of Arthur, and unlike his father, who has horrible, awful luck, Pierce has extremely good luck. And I guess he kind of plays the hero bit a little bit. I don't know. He doesn't like lean into it like Cynthia does, or like Arthur does. He's kind of forgettable. I'm just gonna put him one above his dad. Perry is a character I have very mixed feelings about. So, her gimmick is that she's a psychopath. She likes to kill. She loves blood. And when she was young, a spy was posing as a maid and like killed someone in her family. It might have been her parents, I don't know. So that's why she especially hates maids. But she is Xander's retainer, and it doesn't make any sense for Xander to have a retainer who's just actually a serial killer. What? Like, it's not like she keeps it secret. It's known that she does this. But I like her cotton candy hair, so I'm not going to put her in F tier. She's very... Also, her voice is very, like, weirdly raspy. It's kind of hard to listen to. Yeah. Alright, next up is... What is her name? What is her name? Raina? This woman. She's really cool. She's an older lady. She's a Kinshi warrior. She's the only canon Kinshi warrior. It's a giant bird, and when the riders that have it, they use bow and arrow, which make them counter other flyers. So that's cool. You know what? I think she can just stay right there. Low A... Well, not low A tier. We'll put her right below a Boro. Alright, next up is Raja. Okay. There we go. Cool. I love that I'm gonna have to download 20 different files to stitch this back together. It's great and fun, and I love it. Anyway, Raja is pre-reincarnated Tharja, and even though Tharja's my wife, I kind of don't like that they just, like, did her again. She doesn't stalk Corrin like Tharja stalks Robin, I don't think, at least. So it's mostly just the gloomy aspect. I don't know. She just kind of feels like Tharja, but shallower. But I still like her a little bit, so I'll put her in D. Whatever. I play favorites. This what this whole tier list is, playing favorites. Alright, next up is Rinka. Rinka is very tough, very muscular woman. She's cool. She's not my type. She's cool enough. She's kind of boring, though. She's not very funny. Mostly overly serious warrior type, but it's not played for laughs that often that I can remember. Yeah, mid-C seems about right. Alright, Ryoma, Lobster Man. He will wait patiently for 30 disconnects before he restarts his computer. Ryoma's honestly kind of boring. He's a very overpowered unit, which is cool, I guess. I don't know. I kind of dislike Ryoma. I'm going to put him in the bottom of C tier. Sakura. Sakura's nice. She's just, you know, meek. She's Corrin's younger sister. They're technically not blood related, but they think that they are. But they can still marry each other. Don't worry about it. That's more of a Fates problem, not a Sakura problem. But she's, you know, she's nice. I have an Endoroid of her. I'm gonna put her top of A tier. I don't think she quite deserves S. Alright, Scarlet. That is her name, right? Yes, she has a different name in other languages, or in other regions. But Scarlet, so she's a tomboy, but she's just like super cool and chill, and unfortunately she's a Corrin sexual, so she doesn't have any conversations outside of Corrin. But she's just very charming, and unfortunately she's only in Birthright. If she was in Revelation, I would have married her. She would have been my Revelation wife, but blah 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 plot. Okay, technically, you get her in Revelations. You get her as a unit, and you can marry her. But, spoilers, the chapter after you get her, she dies and gets removed from your team. I think it's the only instance in all of Fates where you have a character and then they get killed off and you can't get them back. Gunter's like a different story on that one. So you can marry her and have Kana with Scarlet in Revelation, but then Scarlet dies. And I didn't want that for Kana, so I didn't marry Scarlet. I kind of looked ahead and spoiled myself on it because I had to know. I had to know what my options were. So if I were to ever play Birthright again, I would marry Scarlet. I like her a lot. And why is she not in Fire Emblem Heroes yet? This music's a little too dissonant. Alright, Selena, who is literally Severa. She's gotten over her mommy issues a little bit, but she's still very much a tsundere. I don't know, it's Severa. What can I say? She's S tier. You know? Alright, Selkie. Selkie is a fox girl, daughter of Kaden. And she's very much a fox as a girl. Like she's a playful little thing. She's very cute. Her voice is a little hard to listen to sometimes, but I actually really like her a lot. And even though I have no intention of ever marrying Kaden, I still consider Selkie my daughter. I adopted her along with Midori. And Severa, I guess. Alright, Setsuna. Setsuna is one of Hinoka's retainers. She is very airheaded, and one of her gimmicks is she always falls into traps. If a trap exists in like a 100-mile radius of her, she will somehow fall for it. She will find it and she will fall for it, not intentionally, but yeah. She's very chill. She's really funny. She's one of my favorite characters. Honestly, Setsuna's S tier. I like her a lot. Shigure is Azura's son. And sadly he's a little boring. He is voiced by Matt Mercer, but then again, so is Ryoma. He has a good singing voice. The Memories of Foam, You Are the Grey Waves version, very pleasant to listen to. If we're lucky, maybe it'll come up on the shuffle. Or maybe I can make it happen manually. Actually, my music's in a weird situation right now. It'd be a little rough to make it happen manually. But yeah, he's just kind of boring. He likes to sing. Yeah. Put him one below Gunter. Yeah, even though I dislike Ryoma, but I don't hate him, so he doesn't go all the way down to D tier. He does have some interesting things about him. I can't think of what those things are, but I'm sure they're there. Alright, Shiro is Ryoma's son. He has daddy issues. He definitely has an inferiority complex because his father's the perfect warrior Ryoma, and Shiro's like, I'll show you, Dad, I'm gonna be the strongest guy. I'm not too big on him, but, you know, he's interesting enough. I'm gonna put him right below Hinata. Actually, below Raja. Yeah, that's good. Alright, next up is Boots. I forget his name. Shura. Alright, so the reason it's a meme to call him Boots, because he's in all three routes, but every time recruiting him is optional, and if you choose not to recruit him, you get a pair of boots instead. Which boots, if you use on a unit, increases their movement by 1 permanently, which is huge. So, a lot of the time, because you get him pretty late game in every route, he's not that great of a unit, and you probably have units you already care about. If you don't care about, like, having every character, it's, like, almost always a better decision to get the boots instead of him. And that said, he's a Corrin sexual, he only talks to Corrin. I can't remember, like, a dang thing about him. He's like a bandit, thief, leader, but, like, he'll change his ways just for you, baby. I'm gonna put him in the bottom of E tier. Siegbert is... Oh, we should get Xander up here first, because he's the son of Xander. Alright, Xander, I actually do like as a character. Despite what happens at Birthright with Elise, I still am a little mad at him about that. And that madness will never go away. He's a good design. He's very serious. He has the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's the eldest son, but he's struggling with, like, the horrible things that Garen are doing. He's trying to, like, justify, like the position he's in. You know, he's an interesting character. I actually like Xander a lot. He's not S tier. But I'm gonna put him low A tier. I think that's fair. Yeah. Alright, and then his son Siegbert. He's just kind of a little derpy guy. He doesn't have a lot of personality, but he's just kind of a dope, and I appreciate him for that. That said, though, I'm just going to put him one below Shiro down here. Alright, Silas. You can get in every route, and he's apparently Corrin's childhood bestest friend forever of all time. That Corrin barely remembers, but Silas is, like, obsessed with Corrin. Like, Silas kind of forgot too, but as soon as he sees Corrin, he's like, oh my god, it's my BFF! Oh, they're on the enemy army? I'll defect. He's obsessed with Corrin to almost a comedic degree, but it's all at the same time it's kind of not comedic. I don't know. I'm just gonna put him mid. Put him above Shiro. Alright, Soleil is the daughter of Inigo. And she's also wannabe playboy. Soleil is very much a lesbian. She likes the girls a lot, but oddly, you can't actually have her marry another girl character. She can only marry boys. We can only be so progressive, all right? It was 2014 this came out, I think. I don't know. I don't remember what year it was. 2015. We've come a long way. But she's obsessed with girls. Pretty much all of her supports with the other girl child units is her like trying to flirt with them and get them to go on a date. And somehow it's more charming coming off of her than Inigo. I know that's not fair, but it is. I'm not gonna put her A tier though. Yeah. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, Laszlo / Inigo is a retainer of Leo. Odin / Owain is retainer of Leo also. And Severa / Selena is retainer of Camilla. Yeah, doesn't really matter, but... Oh, something unplugged. Alright, now we have Sophia. Alright, so remember earlier how I was talking about... Or not Sophia, Sophie. Sophia is from Binding Blade. That is a different character. Sophie. Remember earlier how I talked about if you want every character, you can't marry the normal dating pool, but I couldn't marry Scarlet. So, ultimately, I guess I could have married Flora. But that's weird to me, because I married Felicia. Although that didn't stop me from marrying both Felissa and Emerin. Alright, I should have married Flora. I'm sorry. But by the time I played Revelation, I was decently familiar with the second generation. And you know what? Sophie's really cute. But one of her gimmicks is she has this horse named Avel, who is very ornery, and she has a hard time controlling. And I don't like that aspect of her character. It's like 40% of her dialogue is about that, and it's kind of obnoxious. The other 60%, she's very cute, just a very earnest girl. She's a little clumsy, but she is in waifu, and even though I have actually married her, I'm still going to put her lower than Nyx and Scarlet. Yep. Anyway. Also, I thought it would be a little funny to marry Silas's... Because Sophie is Silas's daughter. So Silas is obsessed with me, but I marry his daughter. So that's kind of funny. Even though I would never do that with Lucina, because I think that's weird. Look, I married her as a joke. It's fine. We had a baby as a joke. It's fine. We raised her with love and care as a joke. It's fine. Alright, next up is Takumi. Takumi is the younger brother retainer. He is also the final boss of Birthright. Spoilers. Because hatred, blah, blah, blah. He has a big inferiority complex. Both with Ryoma, which can't blame him for that, and with Korin, because everyone's so obsessed with Korin, and Takumi's like, what the hell? Who cares? But Takumi's also obsessed with Korin, but he won't ever admit it. He looks like a pineapple. You can't tell in this picture, but his hair makes him look like a pineapple. I'm kind of mixed on Takumi. He's not my favorite, but he has, you know, he is actually relevant to the story, unlike a lot of characters. Even like Leo is not that relevant. I think Takumi manages to be more relevant to the story than Ryoma does. And that's saying something. But he's kind of annoying. I don't know. I'm gonna put him one below Leo. No, put him below Hinoka. Yep. Alright. Next up is Valuria, the daughter of Keaton. And... wow. She also likes to collect garbage. And she just... yeah. But she's kind of soft-spoken. She's pretty demure, keeps to herself, unlike Keaton, who's like a tough guy. Um, little wolf girl. I don't know if it's just her design or what. She's very endearing to me. She is my adopted daughter next to Selkie and Midori. If I were to rank these daughters... Oh, that's about right. But no, Ophelia's not here because I married Odin. No, no, no. No, 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 no. She's my granddaughter. Alright. Yukimura, I think his name is. This man. There's so many Fates characters. Birthright only boy. I don't know. He only talks to Corrin and supports. He's an inventor guy. He's kind of boring. I don't know. Not F tier. We'll put him in E tier. Fill up that space. Alright, and that's all the units in Fate. I didn't feel like including like Garen or Anankos or any of the... So Fates has a mechanic where like it's called capturing, where you can capture like any enemy unit, excluding like certain bosses. But there's like a lot of bosses you can capture. And they're like unique characters, but they don't have like support dialogue. So I didn't include any of them in this list, and this list is already pretty long. Characters I probably should have put in here, but it's too late now. Lilith, I should have put on the list, and she would probably honestly go like high A tier, probably above Sakura. I like Lilith a lot. Makoto would probably be like low B tier. Anankos would probably end up like mid B. I don't know. And Garen, who would probably end up like mid to low C tier. And I guess I probably could have put Iago, but Iago would be like D tier. Hate that guy. Or there's Hans or Aret or Sumeragi. I don't know. There's other characters. But yeah. Alright, let's save or download this. Nice. Alright, so that is my Fire Emblem Fates tier list. We actually have 5 whole characters in S tier this time. Corrin himself, which is just me being egotistical. Corrin is me, and I like me, so I'm the best there is. Mitama, who I was actually surprised to see her in top 5, outside of... Maybe Mitama should be honorary Dataru. I don't know. Odin, Selena, that's not really fair. And Setsuna. And in A, we got Sakura, Baruka, Camilla, Charlotte, Kagero, Kaze, Xander. And that's fair, and we're not going to go through the rest. Bottom of the rung, F tier, Hisami and Ignatius. Hisami's just... He's like the most boring character I can think of. And I can't put my finger on it, but I just despise Ignatius. Cannot stand him. He's worse than Yarne from Awakening. Alright, so that is this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and end stream and restart my computer, and hopefully, when we get back, the internet will be stable. Though it's been stable for like the last 20 minutes, but, well, Alright, next time it disconnects, I'll restart. For now, let's boop. And one more step here. The Fates music didn't get to play as long as it should have, but sadly we are past it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What you doing, File Explorer? That's weird. Alright. So... let's go for a more echoey theme instead of general Fire Emblem. Alright. Fire Emblem Echoes. Has a much smaller cast, so we shouldn't be here too long. Also, it has much more limited dialogue than Awakening and Fates, which I think is to its detriment. But granted, the original Gaiden didn't even have, like, support. I didn't mean to say dialogue. I meant support conversations, where the characters just talk to each other one-on-one. But on the flip side, Gaiden does a pretty good job of letting characters, like, be relevant throughout the game, instead of just, they're introduced, and now you're only going to see them in supports. Or you'll hear their crit lines. Which, gosh, that could be its whole own stream. Ranking crit lines. Maybe someday, not today. I'd have to pull up a video of their crit lines and rank them by that. Not today. It's already going a lot longer than I thought it would. Alright, Alm! Our protagonist boy. Alm's actually a really cool guy. I like him more than Chrom. Yeah, not a lot to say on that. Atlas, very boring, who cares? Berkut is such a good villain. I'm gonna stop explaining things in depth for people that haven't played, but I'm just gonna assume that you've played the game and give my quick little thoughts. I'm gonna try to speed up. Bowie's fine. He's fine. Katria is fine. Celica, I'm just gonna put her next to Alm. Claire, I like a lot. Claire's awesome. She's kind of got that prissy nobleness to her, but she's also, you know, she's not too haughty. She's more like almost like a Ferdinandish, which we haven't talked about him today yet, but a Ferdinandish, like, obligation to the people, I will do my part. Clive is cool enough. Conrad is pretty neat. This guy, I definitely know his name. I definitely do. He's not Shura. That was the Fates guy. Dean, I want to say? Dean. Yeah, I think D's the right spot for him. D for Dean. Delphia. I love Delphia. Just a little ragamuffin. Character archetype that appeals to me is the overpowered lolly. And that's what she is, you know, she's highly intelligent, very gifted, but she, like, doesn't care. She has dynamic with Luther, where Luther's very studious and hardworking, but he's not that talented. He's not, like, especially bad. But Delphia's super talented, but she's just, like, chill. I mean, she's, like, 13. This is a DLC character. She's from, apparently, the Fire Emblem card game that no longer exists. Emma. She's just plucky. She's cool. I'm gonna put her low B tier. Est. Honestly, Katria should probably go above Chloe. S is gonna sit probably above Katria. Faye, I like a lot. She's obsessed with Alm, but I don't know. I kind of like that archetype. I don't know, except for Cordelia. Well, there's no marriage in this game, except Alm and Celica almost certainly canonically get married. But you don't pair off units in this game. Alright. Forsyth is pretty boring. Jenny, I like a lot. She's a little sheep hair. She's just gentle little muffin. Gray is pretty cool. Not that cool, though. Alright, for some reason I put the NPCs in this one, probably just make the list longer. But this is, I forget his name, Jeddah? he's kind of he's the mastermind. He's the one trying to revive Duma. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Jesse, very boring. Actually, you can go below him. Kamui, mercenary, definitely focused on the money. He's scared of necro dragons, which who wouldn't be? But he's funny enough. I'm gonna put him below Bowie though. Bowie's cool. Cliff, I'm not that big on Cliff. Cliff's like the serious, easily annoyed type. Leon, gay pride, I guess. I don't know. He's in love with Valbar, but I don't like him that much. Lucas is cool. Lucas is a cool guy. I actually do quite like Luther. He's pretty cool. I like his hair. May I like a lot. Put her A tier. Probably above Jenny. Okay. May's so fun. She's just so spunky. Matilda's pretty dang cool. I'm gonna put her above Alm, actually. Oh, I forget his name. I want to say Myson? Yeah, Myson. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but that's his name. Is Alm's adoptive father something, something, something? I don't know. I don't think he's that interesting. I'm gonna put him top of D tier. What's his name? Noma. Old wizard guy shows up near the end of Celica route. He sure does. Sure. Pala goes below Catria. Python I like. He's very lazy. He's very much a testament to the notion like hire the lazy person. They'll find a way to get the job done easily, right? Python, put him under Lucas. Oh, this is another Cypher DLC character. Randall? Don't know him, don't care for him. Renea, who's not a playable unit. She has a whole thing with Recruit. I'm just gonna put her next to Recruit. Randolph? No, Rudolph. Not Randolph. Rudolph is the decoy villain. He's the big evil king you gotta go beat before the actual final boss rears their ugly head. He's pretty cool. Bottom of C. Saber. Saber's a cool guy. I can put him one below Clive. This is Shade. She's also a DLC Cypher character. She's fine. She's kind of the Dark Mage aesthetic, but she doesn't get much character development. She's just kind of there. So, she's pretty, though. Silk. I like Silk. I don't know why. I just think she's pretty. She's nice. Sonya. So I've only played Fire Emblem Echoes once. I did not play it more than once. So, like, Awakening I played 3 times. I played each Fate route once. I played each 3 Houses route once. So, you know, we're looking at multiple playthroughs, even if we got different routes involved for everything. But I only played Echoes once. Not because I didn't like it, but I've never felt compelled to go back. And I got Dean in my route. I wanted to get Sonya, but I misunderstood which route to go, and I ended up getting Dean. So I don't know that much about Sonya, but she is hot, so I'll put her in C tier. Tatiana is, what's he called in this game? Zeke. Zeke's girlfriend. She's fine, kind of plain. I'm gonna put her in bottom of C tier. Tobin. Tobin's kind of funny because of how unnoteworthy he is. Put him next to Cliff. Valbar is big tough guy. He's leader of a squad that blah 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 blah. I don't like him that much though. He's very unappealing visually, to me at least. To Leon, obviously, he's very appealing. appealing. Alright. And then we got Yuzu? Yuzu. She's another DLC Cypher character. Let's put her next to Shade. I don't know. Zeke is Camus / Sirius from Marth's games. But he has amnesia in this game, but he's a very cool guy. He doesn't afraid of anything. We'll put him low B tier. And then you only play as him in a DLC chapter, but he's very relevant throughout the plot. So, what's his name again? Fernand? He can live in the bottom of D tier. Alright. It's a little unfortunate that C goes too far and becomes 2, but that's, you know, if that extended out, that's pretty good bell curve. Let's download that one. Alright. So that was Echoes, short as it should be. Alright, next up. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doodly-doo. Oh, Radiant Dawn. Oh, I did include this one. Alright, I'm gonna do my best to talk as little as possible about this one. I don't have a Radiant Dawn playlist to play. I do have Fire Emblem Warriors soundtrack, though. Alright. Oh gosh, I need the list of characters in front of me. I'm not going to remember all these names. Radiant Dawn list of characters. Radiant Dawn list of characters. Thank you. Alright, so first up is Amy. She's a merchant. I'm surprised she's not in Fire Emblem Heroes, even though she's not an actual playable character in this game. She flirts with Ike and Soren, I think. I don't know, I don't remember. D tier. This guy. Aaron, I don't remember anything about him. E tier. Ashura, she's cool. She's evil, but A tier. She's the final boss of Radiant Dawn. What is her name? I want to say Astrid? Astrid, okay. Astrid I remember liking, but thinking back, she doesn't have any like noteworthy characteristics, so C tier. Bastion. Alright, Bastion's a super cool guy. I don't want to like him, but he does so much. He's such a mastermind. And he's on our side. I gotta put him at least B tier. Alright, the Black Knight, A tier. You can't argue with that. Alright, Boyd, don't really care, D tier. What is this man's name? Also worth noting, I have not read all of the Path of Radiant supports, and Radiant Dawn doesn't really have supports, unfortunately. I love Radiant Dawn, but that is a major failing, is that it doesn't have supports. Alright, Braum. Big don't care on you. Actually. Alright. Character whose name I should probably not say, because YouTube thinks his name means something else, so we'll just call him Mufasa. He's a real cool guy. He's the king of the lions, blah blah blah. And then is this Kath? Khalil. I don't remember much about her, but she's cute. Put her next to Amy. Danved / Devdan. I hate him. Don't care. How do you say this man's name? He's not even a playable unit. Bop, bop. Degincia. He's cool. Yeah. Edward is very boring. Elincia is such a good character. Oh my god. She goes through so much. She's such a strong person. Which chapter is it? Is it chapter 2 of Radiant Dawn? I mean, so all of Path of Radiance is like a huge character arc for Elincia. You know, growing into her role as becoming a queen. And like that's the whole conflict, is like keeping her safe and like getting her into that role. But chapter 2, part 2 of Radiant Dawn is all about like an insurgence in her country and how she deals with it. Oh my god. It's insane. I almost cried. Maybe I did cry, I don't remember. It's been a couple years. Elincia is so good. Alright. Now we have what is her name? Edna? Enna. She's alright. Fiona? Eh. Like, I have a tendency in Fire Emblem games to only use the female characters. Sue me. I tried and I tried to make Fiona useful. She just sucks. Astrid, I made useful. Fiona, no. Alright, this guy. I just don't even remember him. Gareth. I guess he's like a super late recruit. I don't remember. I'm gonna put him in F tier. I don't like his face. Alright, Gatri. He is alright. He's like one of those womanizer type. Or, no, is he? No, yeah. He's a womanizer. But, you know, it's obviously a character flaw, not a reason to like him. But he's otherwise, you know, he's dashing or whatever. But he goes in D tier. Jeffrey is really cool. He's one of Valencia's retainers. He's such a cool guy. Alright, this man, I do not remember his name. Gifka. Yeah, I don't remember what he does or does. Should I make a new tier that's like, I don't know you? I should. Oops. Gosh dang it. Making bad decisions. Making bad decisions. Add the row first. Then do that. Oh, wait. Who are you people? So these two can go down there. Alright, next up is Har. He's pretty dang cool. Yeah. I'm not gonna think too hard about order within tiers on this one. Then we have, what is her name? Where is she? She's like a rogue, but you recruit her. Heather. She's fine. She can go in C tier. Ike. Ike is such a good character. There's a reason he's one of the most popular lords. Yeah, Ike at the top of A tier. Alright, Ileana. I actually really like Ileana a lot. She's very, like, soft-spoken. Not quite demure. She's not, like, afraid of people or anything. But she's very soft-spoken. But she has an enormous appetite. She is always hungry. No matter how much she eats, she's always hungry, and it's cute. And I'm sad, I failed to recruit her in Path of Radiance when I played it somehow. Even though I, like, every chapter I looked up, like, what the characters are, how to recruit them. But I somehow missed her. I don't know. But I got her in Radiant Dawn. I like her a lot. This guy... I barely recognize his face. Janaf, he's a raven. I don't know. Jill! Jill's such a good character! Oh my gosh! So she starts out... So the whole thing about the Radiant Dawn games... the Radiant games... Racism is a thing, for sure. Because we talked about, like... He's king of the lions. He turns into a lion. He's king of the dragons. He turns a dragon. He's a raven. They're called Lagoos, whereas humans are called Bjork. But the beasts are called Lagoos. And there's like there's whole racial tensions thing. Jill starts out on enemy team. I mean, a lot of Fire Emblem characters do. But like she's hunting down Valencia because she was hired to do so. And then she sees that there's a bunch of Lagoos on their side, and she's like, they're siding with the Lagoos. I knew they were evil. I will kill them all. But then we defeat her and capture her, and we kind of recruit her. I forget. I think it's like a thing, like she sticks around a couple chapters, like in story before you can actually use her. But like during the first game, like she overcomes her racism, and I think that's great. Jill's a good character. Alright, George, I think his name is. Jorg? I don't know. Haha, funny meme character, got voted into Fire Emblem Heroes somehow. Don't care for him. This man is somewhere. Kieran, he's archetypal paladin, in contrast to like Gatry and, as we'll see later, Oscar. He's fine. He can be in C tier. I do not know these names. There are so many characters in these games. It's hard to remember. Kurth Naga. He's interesting enough. I'm just gonna let him live next to Enna. What is his name? By the way, just because I look up someone's name doesn't mean they go in the Who Are You people. I definitely recognize him. I don't remember too much about him, but, you know. Where is he? He's somewhere in here. Kaiza. Oh, you can live in E tier. Oh, Laura! Laura's just a cute little healer. Astrid should not be in C tier. Astrid should be in B. Yeah, those two are fine. Alright, Leanne I like a lot. She doesn't speak. She can't speak the native tongue. She can only speak heron language. Because she's a heron. Like the bird. She's a dancer. I like her. She kind of learns to speak eventually. She can speak like little partial sentences. Is this Leonardo? Yeah, Leonardo's fine. Put him in C tier. I like Leaf a lot. She's cool. She's a tigress, or she's more like a mountain lion. I don't know, but she's cool. Put her up here. Lucia is awesome, and how in the world is she not in Fire Emblem Heroes? She's Alencia's other retainer. She's so good in Radiant Dawn. Oh my god. Holy crap. Lyre, who is Leith's younger sister. Kind of forgettable. What's your dumb name? What's your dumb name? It's Marsha's Makalov. Hate this guy. He's just a deadbeat, and Marsha has to hunt him down and make him work. But Marsha, on the other hand, is awesome. Love Marsha. Her gimmick is she does dumb substitute swears. Like, oh, caterpillars! Ah, horse feathers. She's fun. Meg. I like her dumb face, but she's not very interesting. Mia. Mia is so good. She's good. She's a little chuny. She's like searching to find her destined rival or whatever. But she's awesome. All right, Micaiah. Micaiah's pretty good. Yeah. Not much to say on that. Mist. I like Mist a lot. Gonna put her one above Ike because I'm biased like that. All right, Mordecai is fine. This guy... What's his name? Where are you at, headband boy? Muarim. I don't remember anything about him. Alright, Nisila is pretty cool. I'll let him sit by the other kings. He's the king of the ravens, or the crows, whatever they are. Nyla's pretty cool. I'm just gonna let all the kings sit next to each other. She's queen of the wolves. This guy, get his name. Pretty sure he sucks, though. Nasir. No, I'm pretty sure he's working for the bad guys the whole time. But he pretends to be... don't like him. Old guy. Nisala's advisor. Don't care for him. Where... His name is... Nailucci? I don't know. Nefany. My girl, Nefany. She's country girl. She don't know what she's doing. She just wants to go back to the farm. She's brilliant character design. This man... Nolan? He's fine. Yeah, D tier. We have a pretty top-laning... Maybe Leith should go down one. Yeah, she probably should. Oliver is so despicable that you gotta love him at least a little bit. Oscar's chill. Kind of boring, though. Peleus is an interesting character, kinda. I don't know. I never actually recruited him because you can only recruit him in New Game Plus because blah blah blah, plot, plot, plot. Raphael, I think? Yeah, Raphael. He's fine. He also doesn't talk much. He marries Nyla. Ranulf is also fine. At least I remembered his name. Who is this man? Renning? I almost want to put him in Who Are You People? Yeah, I'm gonna put him in Who Are You People? I can't remember. I can't forget this man's name. He's so important. Rayson. I kind of dislike Rayson, actually. He's a jerk. Reese is C. Edward? That's Edward, right? Rolf, sorry. Sanaki is so good. Sanaki's so good. Above Jill. Alright, and then we have basically the big bad, Leren, who apparently you can recruit in New Game Plus. I don't know. He's a good villain. I just hate him. Speaking of hating, Shinon, you can live in E tier. He's racist, and he doesn't have a character arc where he overcomes it. He just stays that way. Sigrun is pretty cool. Hi, B. Here, live next to the kings, so they can all beat you up. Alright, and then Scrimmer, who's like the Prince Lion. He's the son of Mufasa over here. I did not like him. He was probably my least favorite part of part 3, which is where you meet him, even though you only get to use him in part 4. I'm honestly F tier. He's very annoying to me. Soren is pretty dang good. Put him underneath Bastion. Soth is good. I don't know. I feel like Soren and Soth just get up here by merit of being main characters, so they get a lot of screen time to, you know, have character. I like Soth better than Soren, though. This man... What's his name? Stefan? Who I always confuse with Heath from Binding Blade. because they look so similar. Honestly, he gets a Who Are You people. Even though I only know him because I like had to look him up recently because I was talking about pulling Heath in a recent Fire Emblem Gacha stream, and someone commented on the VOD and was like, "Great stream. By the way, Heath is from Binding Blade, not Radiant Dawn." And I had to like look at the list of characters and be like, "Oh, I was thinking of Stefan." Tanith. Yeah. Tanith C. Alright, this man. Do I know this man? Oh, he's like the leader. He's like Jill's boss in Radiant Dawn. He's pretty cool. Not that cool though. I barely remember him. Of course, Tabarn. Go live by the other kings. Just have all the kings next to each other. Next to Oliver. Alright, Oliver, you're moving down to C tier. Alright. Titania! I've said it before, I'll say it again. Titania carried me in both games, whether I wanted her to or not. When I saw she was like she was still like #1 in Radiant Dawn, and I'm like, how? I actively tried to not use her, how? But she's awesome. By the way, this tier list is respective to its own game. It doesn't mean that I like these B tier characters better than like Awakening C tiers. Tormod, he's fine. This is a man who can live in Who Are You people. Vika, I think her name is. Yeah, Vika's fine. She can live next to Lyre. And Radiant Dawn added a lot of beast characters that are just like this other character's cousin or sibling. So a lot of them are not too interesting. Alright, Volk. Honestly, you would be in Who Are You people if it wasn't for you being in Fire Emblem Heroes. D. Oh, poor. What's his name? Where is he? Volug. So, in Path of Radiance, there's no casual mode in Path of Radiance Radiant Dawn. And there's no, like, quick save either. If you lose a character, you either live with that loss and they're dead, they're perma dead, or you restart the whole chapter. Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance are pretty slow games to play, alright? So, I definitely got to a point where I'm only restarting for, like, favorites. But, you know, by that point, I was decent at Fire Emblem. I had exactly one death in both games. Death in Path of Radiance was Oscar in the Notorious Black Knight chapter. I just, like, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I, like, retried it, like, 3 times. Everyone kept dying, and Oscar died, and I was like, you know what, acceptable loss. In Radiant Dawn, my one loss was Volug. And it was in the last chapter of Part 1, which is very difficult. And granted, I probably could have just had the Black Knight sweep the whole map, because you get to use them in that map. But I put myself in a corner, and I was like, you know, 30 turns in, and I'm like, man, we'll live with the loss. I don't even like him. So, Volug, you can live at the top of B tier. And then we have, what is his name? Zihark? Zihark. Borderline Who Are You people, but I know him because of Fire Emblem Heroes. You can live at the top of D. Alright, that is all of them. That is the Radiant Dawn tier list. I pretty obviously knew my favorites beforehand. Elencia, Sanaki, Jill. A lot of A tiers this time. Honestly, Black Knight and Ashera don't necessarily need to be there. They can probably go down. Um, yeah, that's pretty good A tier. That's the faves. Screw you, F tier. Who are you people? Who are you people? Alright, looks like the internet stabilized. I don't know what was going on. Alright, well let's save this bad boy. We're getting there, we're getting there. So next up, if I was doing them in order, I should have done Radiant Dawn first. Oops. Well, it was kind of in the order I played them in. I think... Actually, did I play Radiant Dawn before Fates? I did, because I played Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn in college, and Fates came out after I was done with college. Anyway. By the way, this stream is kind of in celebration of Fire Emblem Engage coming out. Pretty excited for that. Alright, and we must change our playlist, of course. It's loading. Alright, so... Path of Radiance. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Probably my... I don't know if it's my favorite or my second favorite Fire Emblem game. The other contender being Awakening. But yeah, let's get underway. We are going to include Three Houses and Three Hopes characters. I'm not going to include the time skip designs. It's just... We're just ranking the characters, not character designs. Gatekeeper. Gonna start us off at a solid C tier. He's a funny joke, and I like him, but he doesn't warrant actually being high tier. Eloise is funny, but eh. Three Houses Anna is a shell of her former self. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't use her. Awakening Anna is cool. Everything since then has been kind of bleh. And I think this one is part of the season pass. I don't know why they keep making Anna DLC. It's not cool. Annette. Alright, we're doing this early. There's no My Babies tier in Three Houses because there's no child characters. And I did it once again. I refuse to learn. Why do I have caps lock on? Oh, because I was typing "Who are you people?" That's right. Alright, Annette is so precious, and she tries so hard, and she's so sweet, and she's a little goober, she likes to sing, and both of her time skip designs are absolute fire. Oh my god. Whew. So when I originally played, I played Black Eagles first, and then Golden Deer, and then Blue Lions. I was so I did my first route and I waited a little bit, and then I played the second route and then I waited a little bit. I was so anxious to finally get to Blue Lions so I could marry Annette. And granted, you don't marry him until like the end of the game in Three Houses. You don't marry midway and then have children. But Annette's so good. Okay, Arvel. Arvel's cool. But by Three Houses standards, I really like Three Houses characters. I don't think I can justify Arvel being higher than C tier. Ash is a very good boy who says very good words. Alright, Balthus I don't really like. I'm gonna put him in E tier. Bernadetta is my baby, must protect. I must admit, if I must rank my waifus, Bernie's probably my least favorite of my three from Three Houses. Spoiler, I have 3, not 4, even though there's 4 routes. Well, We'll get there. There's kind of 4. She doesn't... I married her, but honestly, she's more like adoptive daughter tier. I want to protect her, but she doesn't appeal to me that way. But I still married her, so... There's a follow-up statement to that I will not make because I am family friendly. Goodbye. Byleth. The picture's female Byleth, but we're just going to go by both. I'm going to put him in B tier. No vocals. Can we get like an energetic song? Thank you. Byleth is a silent protagonist, which has slowly over time started annoying me a lot. Alright, there's times it works. I think Persona 5 works fine with a silent protagonist. Although, granted, I haven't really played other Persona games where there was a talking protagonist to compare it to. I understand why Byleth is a silent protagonist. Their characterization meshes well with being a silent protagonist, with like barely speaking ever. But they do get more characterization in Three Hopes, and I like them there. Actually, you know what? Three Hopes actually bumps them up to A. And then it's both male and female. Caspar is a good boy. I'm gonna put him... he can be B tier. He's Punch Boy. Catherine, I'm not really big on. Claude is cool. Can't deny that. Constance? Oh, actually I married Constance in Three Hopes, didn't I? I forgot about the Three Hopes marriages that I did. Alright, Constance is awesome. If you don't know her, she has a fun little gimmick where she's kind of like Noir, she's bipolar. But it's not based on like social situations, it's based on whether or not she's in sunlight. If she's in the shade, she's a boisterous, haughty, noblewoman, although she's no longer a noblewoman. She's trying to reclaim her family's noble status. But if she's in sunlight, she is a severely depressed, lethargic mess of a woman. Just barely clinging onto the will to live. I like her boisterous side, but I'll take care of her lethargic side. I'm gonna put her above Bernie. Sorry, Bernie. Cyril. Dedue. Dedue's pretty cool, but he doesn't like appeal to me too much. So even though he's a good character, I'm sorry, he's gonna go in D tier. Dimitri, I like Dimitri more than Claude. Like, Claude's a cool guy and all. He's got good lines, but Dimitri's got such a good character arc. Dorothea, I like her JoJo hat, but I'm not really too interested in her. C tier. Edelgard, very interesting character. Like, if you've never played her route, I can see why you just think she's Hitler, but she's not. You know, she has strong motivations for what she does. She makes some decisions that, you know, maybe she shouldn't have. But, like, if you look at the history of Fodlan, which is the land of three houses, she's far from the first person to start a war. Like, and that doesn't make it okay, but it's like, that's the world you live in, right? You know that wars have been started over this dumb stuff. And as far as that goes, she has a pretty good cause. Could she have fulfilled her cause without starting a war? Maybe. Anyway. Felix, he's fine. He's good. Ferdinand, my boy. Ferdinand is high B tier. Love that guy. Flayn, I know, I'm very biased about which characters I explain, which ones I don't. Flayn I love a lot, but she is not wife material. I love her speech pattern that she has. She loves fish, which is just pretty endearing. Gustav. slash, what's his other name? Whatever, Gustav. He's fine. He's Annette's father, but he kind of sucks as a father. Hanneman is fine. I'm going to put him on top of D tier. Happy is okay. Going to put her low C tier. Hilda is awesome, but I did not marry her. I'm going to put her above Flame. I like Hilda a lot. But she's just not waifu material. Holst is surprisingly pretty cool. He lived up to his hype. Hubert is awesome. he's so good. I love all of his supports. Ignatz, pretty boring. Put him below to do. Yeah, he's pressured into being a knight, but he wants to be an artist, but he's just, I don't know. Ingrid, and low C tier. I'll put her above Felix. Gerald, who is playable in Three Hopes, but not Three Houses. He fills his role pretty well, but he's not too intriguing to me. C tier. Yuritsa. The Death Knight is not a very good character. They were trying to make Black Knight 2, but they just didn't. Death Knight kind of sucks. Yuritsa, relative to Death Knight, spoilers by the way, Yuritsa's the Death Knight. It's an interesting portrayal of a psychopath, and like, he is aware of his bloodthirst, and like, he wants to be better, but he just like doesn't really know how. That said, he's gonna go high D tier. Leonie, I don't like. I'm not gonna put her in F tier though. Linhart's pretty good. Low B tier, yeah. Lorenz is actually fine in my book. I don't dislike him. He gets a little annoying with all his top nobleness. Like, Ferdinand makes it enjoyable, Lorenz makes it annoying, but he's still, you know, he's got good character motivation, blah, blah, blah. Lysithea! Look, you know when my number waifu of all time is Iliasfil von Einsburn, you know I'm gonna love Lysithea. And no, they're not the same character, but they have enough traits in common. And like, kind of like Delphia, like the young, savant, not idiot savant, but the young savant. I always appreciate them. And oh my gosh, her story is so tragic. All right, spoilers over. Manuela, I am not big on. You know, it's kind of the Inigo Gatry flirty types, but it's an old woman. Well, not old, but middle-aged woman. Marianne, as you may have witnessed in my streams, I did marry. She is more marriage material for me than Bernie is. Sorry, Bernie. But she... Like, watching her overcome her depression, it's definitely more of a thing in Three Houses than Three Hopes. Like, you help her go get through her depression, and it's, like, it's so satisfying. It's... I don't know, it's like, oh, I made you happy? Well, I'm gonna keep making you happy. Mercedes is fine. She's pretty good. I'll put her above Linhart. Monica, low C tier. Not a playable unit, but Nemesis, who did not show up in Three Hopes. I'm still baffled over that. He's very intimidating, but like, looking back on the lore, he's just some guy that the Agarthans just like picked up and like, you're the one who does it. Like, he's just a bandit. But because he got the Sword of the Creator, it made him super powerful, and he just started slaying, and that made him more and more powerful. Yeah. Petra's awesome. Petra goes A tier for sure. Probably above Hubert. Can't even think of his name right now. Punch Boy. I can hear him saying Ignatz, but I can't think of his name. I'm sure I'll think of it as soon as I like the instant before I read it after looking it up. Raphael, gosh dang. Anyway, not a big fan of him. I'm gonna put him below Balthus. Rhea, despite being the cause of most of the game's problems, and she would never ever admit that, she is in fact the savior of the world, don't you know? She's actually a pretty sympathetic character. Like, she wants to make the world a better place, she's just doing it in a tyrannical way. But she thinks she's doing good things. Rhea is actually like, I'm gonna put her above Dimitri and Claude. She's kind of the fourth lord. I mean, she's your quote-unquote lord for your fourth route, even though it's not that simple. Rodrigue, I think was a really rare choice to add as playable in Three Hopes. Oh, I want to play as Felix's dad. Wow. Like, if we're just making dads playable, I feel like it should have been Kaspar's dad to be prioritized over Rodrigue. I know Rodrigue already had a character design, and he was already important to Three Houses, whereas Count Brigley's didn't like show up in Three Houses physically. Sedith, I love Sedith. I have something to ask of you. He's such a good guy. Sedith and Flame make me feel so bad whenever I side with Edelgard. Honestly, yeah, Sedith's above Edelgard. Shamir is pretty dang cool. I'm gonna put her above Caspar. Yeah. This guy, whatever his face is. Oh, I want to say Solon, but that's not right. Oh, it is Solon. Solon sucks. He's boring. Like, he just shows up and says stuff and leaves, you know? Like, you don't feel the maliciousness. Like, you can tell there's supposed to be maliciousness, but you don't feel it. I'll put him bottom of E tier. Also, Rodrigue should probably go higher than a couple of these. Put him higher than Leone. Sothis, I married in my fourth round of Three Houses. Like, okay. I had looked up the S-rank support before choosing to do it, and I was hemming and hawing, like, do I want a fourth wife? Like, who would I go for? Hilda? You can't get Hilda in that route. Wait, yes you can, actually. Hilda, no. Marianne at the time, no. Flame, no. Looking back, I probably should have gone Marianne, but I don't know. I like Sothis a lot, and Three Houses spoilers, but she disappears halfway through the game. She merges with Byleth. But in the S support, she reappears. So my motivation was like, oh, hey, Sothis gets to live if I S rank her. So yeah, I'll keep her at the bottom though. Sylvain, much like Inigo, the womanizer, the wannabe playboy, to which every woman he talks to yells at him before he even says anything, so it's... He has to, like, earn it first. I don't know. He has to earn getting yelled at. Otherwise, it's just an annoying character trait. Like, it has to be satisfying for him to get yelled at. But, you know, he's got motivations, like... He's just trying to, yuck it up before he has to take responsibility. And you know, you kind of see that in Three Houses, or Three Hopes, a little more than Three Houses, actually. And yeah, it's not going to bring him out of C tier, but it'll bring him above Lorenz. Talus. We just don't know anything about him. Despite him being, like, more or less the big bad. Like, sure, he's never a final boss, but he's the mastermind. He's the cause of all the world's problems that Rhea didn't cause. I don't know. I'll put him above Manuela. Just have a distinction there. And Yuri. Yuri's pretty cool. He's like Leon done right, you know? I don't think I like him enough to bring him out of C. Actually, I will bring him out of C tier just so that it's not 2 rows. That is our reasoning for what we do, right? Alright, and that's 3 houses. Looks like a pretty small roster after, like, Radiant Dawn. Yeah, Hilda Flame at the top. We're gonna ignore the waifu tier. There's too much bias involved. And then Byleth, Sedith, Edelgard, Petra, and Hubert. I think I'm gonna do an alright job of not being too biased and just putting all the women at the top and all the men at the bottom. Obviously, a little bit of that bias is gonna come through. I mean, there's whole top rank categories that men aren't allowed into. Yeah, download that. And we should be up to our last tier. Oh, second to last. Almost. Almost. We got a surprise one here that you might not be expecting. It'll be short, though. Don't you worry about it. And get the music running for it. Hopefully you don't get DMCA'd for these ones. Hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. Play me out, Johnny. That's right, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE, baby! This game's awesome. If you haven't played it, you're missing out. Just put the party members on here. I thought about putting, like, Maiko and Barry, but I didn't want to talk about Barry, so we're not gonna. There's no marriage mechanic, so I can't put any waifus. But if there were, Eleonora would definitely be the one. The one that I would choose. I love Eleonora. She's so good. Itsuki, you know, kind of bland protagonist. I don't hate him, but he's just kind of there. Kyria I like a lot. Kyria's pretty good. If Eleonora wasn't there, she'd probably be my favorite character. Memory I like. Gonna sit her also in A tier. She's the armor unit. She's the axe unit, and I think that's funny. And otherwise, you know, she's just sweet. Toma, I'm gonna put just under Itsuki. Sorry, the male-female bias is gonna definitely rear its ugly face here. Tsubasa, B tier. My least favorite girl, but I still like her. And I forget his name. The last guy. Yep, there you go. If I were to place others, I mostly didn't place them because I couldn't find like a good pre-existing square little picture for them that match that format. Vocaloid Tiki would probably be in A tier. Maiko would probably be in C tier, and Barry would be in like F tier. Wow, we didn't even get through one song. Alright, but that's the last game. But now it's time for the games tier list. And this one will also probably actually be pretty short. And alright, we'll let the TMS music keep playing. Alright. Fire Emblem games. I should probably put a category at the bottom. That is... Haven't... Typing's hard, okay? Haven't played. Alright. First up, I believe that is Shadow Dragon, which is the very first Fire Emblem. Oh no, that's Mystery of the Emblem. Let's just try to do these in order that they came out. Alright, Shadow Dragon is the very first one. Or just Fire Emblem, rather. Shadow Dragon is the remake. I haven't played it, technically, but I have played the remake, which is pretty faithful. I guess I have to put it in haven't played. And for Mystery of the Emblem as well. Fire Emblem Gaiden, though, I have played. Because it did not have a remake at the time. And it kind of sucks. It's rough. Next up is Genealogy of the Holy War, which sadly I have also not played. I know. We're not off to an interesting start here, but we'll get interesting in a minute. Same for Thracia, those two. Look, next Fire Emblem game I play besides Engage will definitely be Genealogy, okay? And maybe someday I'll even go back to Fire Emblem 1 and Mystery of the Emblem. But I played the remakes, so like, I almost don't even know what the point is. Alright. So, 5 Fire Emblem in-games. Here's one I've actually played. Binding Blade. Binding Blade. I like characters, I like the story. I didn't achieve the true ending because to get the true ending, you have to hit all these invisible parameters it doesn't tell you about. Like, beat this level within this number of turns. Beat this level without killing this guy, blah blah blah. And I had a guide with me to, like, recruit characters, but I didn't have a guide to get all the stuff. And even if I did, I don't know if I'd be able to do it because Fire Emblem Binding Blade is the most ball-bustingly difficult game I've ever played in my entire life. Oh my god. And I know, what, it's the Dark Souls of Fire Emblem, blah blah blah. How is that even possible? It's just turn-based. It is so insanely difficult. Maybe Genealogy and Thracia are harder, I don't know. I haven't played them. But Binding Blade is so rough. But it's still more fun than Gaiden. Blazing Blade. I like the story less than Binding Blade. And I think I like the characters less too, which I know is weird. Because I played it before Binding Blade. And in some ways, like, the mechanics are an upgrade in Blazing Blade. I should clarify, Fire Emblem Blazing Blade is just called Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, because it was the first Fire Emblem game in English. But you call it either Blazing Blade or Rekka no Ken, which is its Japanese name. But yeah, also I really don't like the... You don't get a convoy until, like, partway through the game where you recruit Merlinus, and then you have to deploy him in order to actually access the convoy. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I know Binding Blade has Merlinus too, but it's like, it feels more designed around him. That said, I don't like Merlinus. Alright, Sacred Stones, I actually like quite a bit. I think it was a big step up from the other two Game Boy Advance games. Even if there's characters from those two games that I like better. I mean, Sacred Stones has a lot of characters I like. It has La Rochelle, it has Myrrh, it has Tana. It has some others, probably. But yeah. And it is probably the easiest Fire Emblem game before Awakening came out. But I think that's to its benefit. I think Fire Emblem games are a little too hard sometimes. Alright. After that... Was it? Alright, I think it was Path of Radiance next. And you know what? Path of Radiance is good. It's a little rough. It's a little slow. The story's not that good. And it kind of feels incomplete. Like, it feels like they were building up to a sequel, so there's a bunch of, like, hanging threads. Not my favorite. I don't like this song. That said, Radiant Dawn is so insanely good. I should put Sacred Stone in A tier. Like, yeah, there's a couple downsides, like supports aren't really a thing in it. But the way it's chunked up and you get all these different party members for different sections, like, the story's incredible. The final level where you pick your top 20 units and you bring them through like this gauntlet, it's wild. I remember when I played it, I cleared, like, I was right before the final level at like in the middle of the night, and I'm like, okay, let's go to bed, we'll do the final level tomorrow. It took the entire day to do that final level. It was insane. But it was like high pressure the entire time. It wasn't like, oh, it's such a slog. It was like, whoa, oh my god, I'm going crazy. It was like 8 hours to beat the last level. Cause I mean, it's like a multi-part last level. There's 4 levels in the last level, but still. Shadow Dragon. Kind of sucks. It's yeah. The plot's bare bones. The art style is not appealing at all. The different classes don't feel like they matter. And also you can just like freely switch any unit to whatever class you want at any time. I don't know. The systems just don't really work. But then you have New Mystery of the Emblem, which is a remake of Fire Emblem 3. And that one, mechanically, it's kind of the same. I feel like the map designs are better. But the story is actually really good. Even though the art style still kind of sucks, and the gameplay mechanics are lacking, like, I think the story makes up for it. I think New Mystery of the Emblem is really good. Fire Emblem Awakening, as you might guess, is S tier. It is so good! I love the character so much, I love the story so much. The gameplay mechanics are incredibly easy to abuse, but I think that's a good thing, it makes it fun. Maybe someday I'll do a Lunatic Classic run Iron Man of Awakening. Not Lunatic Plus, though. I've heard the stories. Lunatic Plus is awful. Fire Emblem Echoes has a really good story, really good art style, and I like a lot of the characters a lot. But the gameplay definitely drags it down, so it cannot sit in S tier. But it's better than Sacred Stones, I think. Although if Sacred Stones got a remake, like, of the caliber of Echoes, it would probably be sitting in S tier. Alright, Fire Emblem Fates. Look, the story's a mess. I understand this. It's split into 3 parts, and none of the parts like feel like a cohesive story on their own. And even with them all combined, there's a lot of lingering threads. It's obvious that there was like a lot of cut elements from the story, and certain parts like don't make sense. Like, how many times do they make it a plot point for like, I'll save you, Corrin jumps in front of Axe, but Corrin was just like standing there looking at them. Like, you didn't have to sacrifice yourself. to block the shot. Corrin can take care of themselves. You didn't have to do that, Elise, Lilith, Scarlet. Okay, Scarlet's made a little bit of sense, but still. That said, I love the characters a lot. There are a lot of good story moments. The supports are really good. Honestly, it loses a lot of points. So Awakening, its supports are not fully voice acted like Three Houses or anything, but there's little like voice clips that'll play at the beginning of each line. You know, gets you a feel for the character. Fates doesn't have those little voice clips in the support dialogue. Those types of clips exist. They have voice samples like that in the game for like combat and whatever, and like story dialogue, but it's just not in supports, and it makes them feel so barren. It's hard to explain. But yeah, honestly, the gameplay mechanics are really solid, and you'll notice that Revelation is not in this list. That's because I couldn't find a good thumbnail for it. I actually like Fates more than Echoes. I think the gameplay is a lot better, and I like the characters more. I'm gonna say Conquest is better than Birthright, because Conquest is an actually difficult Fire Emblem game, even with like the abusable elements from Awakening. You still like, it's still hard. Birthright's a little too easy, especially if you use Ryoma all over the place. And Revelation would probably be below Birthright, because even though it's supposed to be the big climactic whatever, its story by itself doesn't make sense. If you hadn't played either of the other two first, it would be incoherent. And also the map design sucks. So Revelation, I would probably still put above Echoes, but it's below Birthright. Now we got Three Houses. Three Houses is really good. I think I still have to put it below Awakening. But man, I play all 4 routes. I put 400 hours plus in this sucker. It's good. It's good. Oh, I skipped some. Well, those are the spin-offs that go at the end. Fire Emblem Three Hopes. So it's alternate timeline from Three Houses. And they do a lot of interesting things with that alternate timeline. Events play out differently, and like some characterizations are different, looks at Sylvain. In a better way. But like, all 3 of the routes have such lackluster endings. It takes all the wind out of its sails. I'm gonna say it's still A tier. But I'm gonna put it below Echoes. It is not on Three Houses level. Fire Emblem Warriors is a spin-off. Kind of crossover. He plays characters from Shadow Dragon, from Awakening, and from Fates. And there's a couple DLC characters. I think there's DLC Lyn and DLC Celica. From other games. I think as a fan service game, it's a lot of fun. Mechanically, the only Warriors game I played before it was Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U, not the 3DS version, not the Switch version. And mechanically, it works so much better than Hyrule Warriors. Because the original Hyrule Warriors didn't let you like switch characters, deploy multiple characters at the same time, direct other characters on the map. So the whole point of those games is map control, and you can't, and you have to run there by yourself. Oh my gosh. Hyrule Warriors is fun, but also kind of infuriating. But Fire Emblem Warriors, I got all the DLC, and I played through all the DLC. I think it's fair to say 100% of the game. I didn't like A rank every mission or everything, but like, I don't know. And I got like my favorites decked out. My Elise is super strong, my Tiki's super strong, my Bliss is super strong. It's a fun game. I'm gonna say above Path of Radiance. The story's pretty lackluster, so that even though the endings of Three Hopes sucks, like the storytelling along the way is really good, so that's why it gets to be up there. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I actually really like this game. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's kind of Persona 4.5. I say even though I haven't played Persona 3 or 4. I've only played Persona 5, but still. And I actually played it before I played Persona 5. But I wanted to play Persona 5 because I enjoyed Tokyo Mirage Sessions so much. So I'm gonna say it's actually above Fates? No. Well, it has such a good aesthetic, and the music and the story's good. Fine, I'll put it above Three Hopes. Fire Emblem Heroes. God. How much money have I lost because this stupid game? The gameplay sucks, and the power creep's awful, and the gacha sucks. Bottom of B tier. Yeah, well. Alright, if we're fair, I'm going to assume that Shadow Dragon and New Mystery of the Emblem are just as faithful of remakes as Echoes is, but just without the the visual appeal and the voice acted storytelling and stuff. So I'm gonna assume they're the same game just with sprites instead of kind of ugly drawn art. So I'm gonna put. I cannot tell which one is Mystery of the Emblem and which one's Shadow Dragon. I think this one's Shadow Dragon. Let's put those together. And I'll put this next to New Mystery of the Emblem. There. Now we got a high leading bell curve. I know, it's weird to end the Fire Emblem stream on all this pop music, but it's the soundtrack of Tokyo Mirage Sessions! What do you want from me? That said, save this, and that is the end of my tier list for today. I'm gonna go stitch these VODs back together. Hooray, hooroo. One more time for posterity. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening to all my Fire Emblem opinions. Again, if I were to rank games before Radiant Dawn, or you kind of saw it in the Radiant Dawn, there'd be so many characters I'm just like, I don't know who that is, D tier, right? I'd have my couple favorites in S and A, and then the rest would just be like D, E, F. Yep. Or the occasional, oh, I know them from Fire Emblem Heroes. Wow. I don't remember them all. I don't remember them at all from playing the actual game. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I don't get DMCA'd from the Tokyo Mirage Session soundtrack. Womp womp. Yeah, I don't know what I'm up to next week. Schedule is completely open. I'm gonna have to start new games. Or make content. Today was a content day. I did content. This stream was content. Nobody watched it, but it was content. It was more content than just, playing Splatoon 3 story mode. Or whatever I've been doing lately. Just playing my backlog and... Look, it's hard. My brain's empty. I don't have ideas. I'll put in the work, but I don't have ideas. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Yeah, until next time, my peeps. Oh, and got a special stream planned for the end of December, so look forward to that. Yeah, unless plans fall through, but they shouldn't. Yeah. Anyway, until next time, my peeps. Fare it out.